Hey there, listener. It's Bones from the show, just cutting in. Are you like me whenever you hear like the person from the show like cut in at the beginning? You either assume like something bad happened, or they're going to go on about like their Patreon or some advertisement. Well, we don't have ads. We don't have a Patreon, and our sound quality is never that great. So what can I be talking about? Well, I'm just giving you a heads up. And speaking of sound quality, this kicks off the first of April's SMASHVILLE records. That's right, the Dirty Dudes. We convened in Nashville. Laundry Dan and myself did have to hitchhike down there. And when they say ass, gas, or grass, one of those things is more popular. So one of us may have had a tough time sitting down through these records. And that's all I'll say. But full month, all 4 episodes recorded in person. We start off with Dan bringing us The Edge from 1997. Kron's going to bring you Castle Freak next week. I got the substitute with Tom Berenger, I believe 96. And then we have a cocktail commentary. We may or may not finally do some bullshots as we watch Jean-Claude Van Damme in Hard Target. Now, like I said, this is in person. When you look up places on Airbnb, they may not always tell you whether or not they're podcast recording suitable. So enjoy the passing traffic, Kron getting ice from the refrigerator, a special guest may or may not get into the dryer vent and that rattles through the fucking house. But it is what it is. You come for the Dirty Dudes. Hey, it's a 5DR, so this baby's going to breathe. There's tangents. It's a little blue. You didn't get the name Dirty Dudes for no reason. This isn't your grandpa. I mean, it could be a grandpa's podcast. I don't know. See, fucking grandpas can get dirty, right? It's grandma who's always telling them to shut up and shit. That's a little sexist because there's definitely dirty grandmas out there. We know there's a bad grandpa. They're going to do a bad grandma movie, right? They probably pitch that. Who's doing that? Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Bell are bad grandmas. Big fake titties and stuff. Bothering people in their day-to-day, like blue-collar workers. Trying to prank people that work at a food truck or some shit. Yeah, that'll be fucking funny. But you know what is funny? This episode of 5 Day Rentals. Now enjoy SMASHVILLE, The Edge.
Welcome to the 5 Day Rentals podcast. We are the video store podcast. And this week, we are cracking open a fresh category, live and in person from the middle of the country.
This energy is unmatched. Mm-hmm. This is...
You sound like you're fired up for these in-person records.
I'm here... Well, I'm Laundry Dan. And this new category is called SMASHVILLE. It is a in-person record. I do have my 2 favorite people in front of me, Bones and Kron Howard.
I touched him, dude.
You'll get some of that magic.
Not the first or last time this weekend, I would imagine.
And yes, I'm sitting in the same room with them.
That's a smooth shave, too.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
How are you, boys?
What's up, dude?
I need to turn that. There we go.
We spent 5 hours in a car with each other yesterday, so
yeah,
we've had enough. Now Kron is getting Eiffel Towered with our attention.
Whoa.
It was a joyous occasion.
I don't know why we're describing it that way.
He loves it.
You know what I noticed just before this pissing? Your guys' bathroom, the pee flush, it's on the different side.
But you got your own bathroom?
Why the fuck are you using our bathroom?
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I wanted to try it out.
Well, I'm going to use Bones's.
You can try mine.
I'm going to use Bones's for my shits.
Twos and Bones,
Yeah.
ones and ours.
You can shit in there, but just know that the flush button
Nope, just do a onesie.
Oh, I'm shitting in the shower and kicking it
or
down.
waffle stomping it down.
Yeah.
No, just leave it, bro. Don't fuck his pipes up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They all go to the same
Yeah,
place.
they're all the same thing.
I thought you were on my side.
I'm on whatever side lets me shit in the shower.
If Kron gets it through the shower drain, it's going to make it through the rest of the pipe.
He's got some pretty large turds.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if he mashes it down, if anything, that's probably better than just using a generic toilet.
Can you waffle stomp anything else?
I would say any kind of malleable material.
I think waffle stomp is only used for shit.
Well, and I mean, popular culture it is, but
I don't know. Do you think they waffle stomp the placenta, those people that do home births?
No, you eat it.
or you put it in your garden.
Yeah, but if you waffle stomp it, now you've pateed it almost.
Oh, I thought you meant to like bless your drain pipe.
I mean, clearly,
God bless this house.
you can tell the children that their parents didn't eat the placenta. They're terrible. You're like, yeah, they didn't eat their placenta.
So you're admitting to not having eaten the placenta.
My children? I don't have any children.
Oh,
They
yeah,
haven't
that's
proved
right.
themselves
We got to
yet.
keep the facade up.
They haven't proved themselves to me yet.
This is the one time we're supposed to drop the facade, but
We ate the kid and are raising the placenta.
Super easy. We don't have to buy diapers.
what's the daycare situation? You just getting on the list?
Trying to get them to give me a
Trying to
discount.
get on the list?
Drop the jar off at the front door.
You're on the list to get on the list?
Oh, don't leave it in the car. Why not?
You could drop it off at a fire station. It's a safe place.
I try to put myself in one of those boxes. They're like, get out.
Get me the hell out of here.
They're like, this is the fucking 5th time this week, dude.
Yeah.
Please
Kind
take
of fucked up that it's only for babies. Should
Yeah.
be for dads who want a good out.
Or moms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Because other rights are taken away from us, but hey, we can still go to a fire station.
Whoa.
This is not leading anywhere towards the movie that we were going to talk about today, whatever it is.
I don't know. I think these guys would eat a placenta.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you are in a survival situation and you come across a moose placenta, do moose have placentas? That'd be the Discord one that we get fucking 2,800 messages on.
I would assume anything that gives live birth would have a placenta, right?
I don't know if that's just a human thing.
I don't know. Pull up a video of...
Well, isn't the purpose for like, that's what the baby lives off of?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess any
Mammal?
live birth mammal
Yeah.
probably has a placenta.
You think there's a guy out there that's tried them all?
And you got to get some elk placenta, dude.
Dude, you ever had a beluga whale placenta? Rare.
That thing must... Does that thing pop up and float like an escape buoy?
I think the baby
Out of
probably eats that, right?
That might be where the fucking hippies got it from. Watching a deer, walk 2 seconds after it's shat out. And then I feel like the mother's entitled to that placenta.
Yeah, but then you're eating like your own.
Get a taste.
Well, that's like a product of your body. I don't know if you should eat that. Somebody else should. It seems like.
The dad, he has to.
But don't these hippie women eat their own placenta?
I think nowadays you can like get it grinded into like a pill or a smoothie. Of course, these are just rich people.
I got a ninja at home. Why am I packaging a placenta?
Who's doing that? Who's receiving placentas in the mail and stuffing them into pill
So
capsules?
you're drying it out, you're pulverizing it, you're putting it in a...
Well, that's the question. How do you just take that home in a fucking doggy bag with the baby, or do they send it to? Like, I don't know.
I know this. If they're the type of people that are saving the placenta, that's definitely a reusable hemp bag that they're asking it to be put in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I brought my own.
Bought that at Pride Week.
Man, no, don't shave me. All right, guys. I guess we should introduce the movie we're talking about, huh?
Yeah. You want to remind everybody where this list came from?
This list is from Letterboxd. You can find it there. Mount Mohill, Chris, doing God's work, does a list of every movie that we mentioned but do not cover or haven't covered yet on 5 Day Rentals. So you can find that. I think it's 700 strong the last time I got on there and looked. But we did choose our 3 movies for this Smashville category off of his list. So we gave him some work to do to get those off of there.
Yeah, and what episode did you originally mention the edge on? Give us the context.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Cite your
in
source.
Prince of Darkness off of the category Black Magic from Cron Howard.
Do you think he put it on the list when one of us was like just edging?
I hope not.
Well, you would have been on there first.
Because that means you're hearing my edging.
Nobody has time to edge, right?
Well, if you never make the time, then you're never going to find the time.
Is it edging if she's got to pee and she runs to the toilet and you're just sort of keeping... Or that's fluffing, right?
No, I think fluffing's when you get like a partial boner before you start filming.
Okay. I thought fluffing was keeping the boner.
I don't think she doesn't have anything that he or she, whoever you decide to make love to. No, it's always like, yeah, I'm going to edge this as much as that's it. Yeah, nobody's edging.
So she goes to pee and then you're done when she gets back?
Like Sting? Shut the fuck up, Sting. No, you didn't. Didn't last.
Oh,
30.
like tantric sex?
Yeah.
Constituting. I thought edging was just like a dude who's edging all week to build up for one.
Isn't edging like an
Massive
actual
surprise.
practice of
Yeah, I think
jerking it?
You like go up until the point you're about to bust and then you stop.
Yeah.
And people are doing this on their own at home?
Yeah, people are doing all kinds of stuff.
I think, yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's fairly tame to what some people are probably doing at home.
That is true. I don't. There's no fun in that. I guess I'll report back in a week.
I don't know. Some people probably don't like the cleanup factor. I don't know. Maybe it's...
Yeah. I just don't feel like you have that much time. Unless people are doing it at work.
And what are what's the
to.
logistics in there that you're trying to build a bigger load? Like, so you activate it, you stop, and then a little bit later you're brewing up more? Does that stuff just line up in the shaft like
These are
a queue at the grocery store?
These are young guys that are doing this edging business because they want to see the ropes.
I think you're just setting yourself up for a disappointing sexual experience.
Yeah.
Because then when it finally happens, some chick's like,
That didn't take very long.
yeah, you're going to go like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Isn't the real power move to just jerk off like 8 times before you go out?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, you got to be shooting dust when
yeah,
these
seem
chicks
like you
start
just last
hooking up with
forever.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a young man's game because when you get old enough to actually come inside of a woman or a man, whichever, you're not worried about that.
Yeah, who cares how much?
Yeah, you don't see it unless you watch it drip out of the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm carrying your love with me.
I think there's a direct correlation on how fast she has to run to the bathroom to how much you have in there, right?
Always pee.
They're
ladies.
trying
Always pee. We care. 5DR cares. Yes, we're doing The Edge from 1997. Speaking of edging, good one. Directed by Lee Tamahori. Familiar?
Tamahori?
Tamahori.
Director of,
I believe he's a Bond guy.
yeah, Die Another Day.
Who sang that opening song?
Madonna.
So die another day.
Die another day.
Die another day.
Die another day.
I know what you're doing, and you're surprisingly close.
Really, Madonna? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's kind of mocked, but I will say this. As bad as the movie is, it has an interesting title sequence because it's one of the first that actually progresses the story in the title sequence. Because there's this, you got the cold open, and then a certain amount of time passes before the rest of the movie starts. And that title sequence inside of it shows the progression, which is kind of cool. Probably the most dated of all of the Bond songs, though. It's very of that time.
Did you see her try to get onto the fan for not standing up, and then she realized the person was in a wheelchair?
Yes.
Fucking awesome.
I think she should have doubled down.
That's a shitty crowd because that crowd should have lifted that person up in a wheelchair. We've seen that.
They're Madonna fans, dude. They're all 65.
Yeah.
Nobody's lifting anything.
I thought you were going another way on that one.
No, I wouldn't do that. Most progressive guy on the show.
I'm gonna win. I think I'm gonna win that title this season. I'm trying to win the most progressive.
I don't know. You've had
But I don't want to hurt your feelings. But it's okay if your feelings are hurt. If you need some time, please take some time.
I'm so progressive that I'm not worried about hurting your feelings because nothing would ever come out of my mouth.
He just out-progressived me.
Yep.
Thank you to our sponsor for all the live shows, Progressive Insurance. If you guys are feeling crunch time here with car insurance going up and housing, you can bundle Progressive.
Bones cut that. They're not giving us a dime.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah, we're a Geico family anyway.
All right, The Edge. I know Bones has seen it. Sir Anthony Hopkins, Alec Baldwin. Kron?
I'd never seen this movie. I tried to watch it when I went on horror drafts to do the, because I did Animals Attack.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this would be a good one, but it wasn't on any streaming, or it might have just been on Disney at the time. And I also had 15 other movies that I had on a list, so I at least am aware of it, but had never seen it before this.
Would it have made your list had you watched it?
No, I don't think so. It's a really good movie, but I always try to go horror heavy on their show. I feel like this is not necessarily horror. This seems more adventure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Survival, I think, sits outside of horror.
Yeah, thriller.
You can mash them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say survival thriller, yeah.
Yeah. This bear is just simply guarding his territory. It's not.
It's kind of stalking them.
If it had been,
because he's a man killer.
If it had been like a demonic bear, then maybe it could work on horror
that's
drafts.
true.
But
as I was saying it, I was like, but isn't that what Jason Voorhees does in 8 of his movies? He's just protecting his his territory. He doesn't want people around the lake.
Does he pay fucking taxes on that Camp Crystal Lake?
Well, to be fair, I don't think the Kodiak bear is paying taxes on the Alaskan wilderness.
Yeah, I just got out progressive again. I just went total conservative.
A 15% tax rate on 0% income is $0, dude. I don't think he's.
You know what? We're going in to get Bart. We're taking him in. That's his name, Bart the bear. That's the bear used in The Edge.
Yeah,
Making his second appearance on 5 Day Rentals.
Did you tell us what the first one was?
I think we discussed it maybe off pod 1 week before this
I don't remember.
beautiful live recording event that we're doing here for our fans.
Was he in the zoo in Cat People?
Nope. Underrated, that movie. Maybe be seeing it on a rewind number 10.
We're never doing a rewind ever again.
He's in if he was at the New Orleans Zoo in that movie, he would have been in a 5x5 enclosure.
I'll tell you this much.
Concrete floor.
Just tell us.
It's the only seagull movie we did on Deadly Ground.
Oh, yeah.
It's in his vision, I believe. I think when he said that fucking vision.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Bart the Bear was in there.
Wow, they got Bart for that.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Seagal pulled out the alt stops, man.
He wanted I want the best.
He had a blank check on that.
Do you think Seagal was like, I could take the bear?
Oh, I think he
100%.
probably tried, yeah. Why is he waving his arms like that? You want to go?
Harold Perrineau is also in this movie. Elle McPherson.
Al McPherson, yes.
And
Mickey.
And somebody that just popped up as a supporting character, very small role in this, is a supporting character in a movie we just talked about.
Roadhouse.
Yep.
Tony Funk.
Yeah. No.
Tony Funk?
I want to say Carrie Ann or something. One of the waitresses in Roadhouse is Elle McPherson's assistant in this.
I can't remember what her name. I thought that was well, I guess I shouldn't say that. It's another movie we're doing. Thought it was the same chick in The Substitute.
No, you can say that we're doing The Substitute because we've already put out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know the secrecy, you guys.
And we've already recorded The Substitute, and that episode is fucking fire.
Fucking banger.
That's why this one is so low energy, because we're going out of order.
We are getting started at a time that we are not familiar with at all. But guess what? We're drinking.
2 of us are.
Yeah. Bones has a beverage. Just doesn't contain alcohol. I'll get there. All right. First watch for Kron. Kron, are you mad at me for this one? You've been mad at me for 3 months. Both of you have.
This was a fun time. This seemed right in the 5-day rentals wheelhouse. I think maybe you were put on the spot, like pick a movie off this list. You just looked, you picked one. I think you're overthinking all the other ones.
No, I think, let me tell you the true story behind The Edge. So it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
When you feel the come, you let go. Think about soccer.
Okay.
3 minutes. No, the true story behind The Edge is I was always like, that's going to be a Bones pick, and I want him to plot that movie because I don't want to plot it. But he never fucking picked it.
It's not that hard to plot. This is a pretty easy one to plot.
Just guys getting away from a bear.
There's some goddamn twists and turns in here that you don't see coming. I didn't, at least. I was like, holy shit, no way. You can totally see it come. Like,
I mean, they set up the one twist at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
how many times did you watch this?
Twice.
Okay. Yeah, the second time
That's
around.
pretty good. If you
pretty
got
good for
2
you.
out of him. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second time around, I think you can definitely see it way more on like Hopkins' face and shit like that. Just like the looks and shit.
I guess, but I mean, it's like 20 minutes into the movie and he's like, how are you going to kill me? And that's the twist. Like, that's the whole thing at the end.
It gets a little twisty at the end, too.
I guess, but they just, I don't know. They tell you basically what's going to happen at the start of the movie.
I think the twist is more that he still helps him. I think you don't buy Baldwin saying, why would I kill you? What the hell what are you getting on about? Then when he does get the gun, you're like, okay, we knew this was coming. To me, the twist is the fact that he still gets him out of the bear hole.
He cut his leg off, right?
I don't think so. I think he just tourniqueted the spot. I don't think he cut his leg off.
They like never show his leg again.
I just took that as
He's all wrapped
easier
up.
to wrap. Yeah, he's just wrapped up and don't need to show it.
I thought that was going to be the reveal at the end. When Baldwin's like in that canoe and shit.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to rescue both of them. And then he was going to try to get up and be like, where's my fucking leg?
Yeah. Charles, where's my leg, Charles? Charles. Yeah, when he pumps him up on the table in the cabin, I do think there is a vibe of like, oh shit, maybe he's about to cut his leg off. But he kind of gets the bleeding stopped. And I thought, because it's been a long time since I had seen this, and I had not seen the end since the first time I watched it. And I thought maybe we were going to get a gunpowder cauterize sort of situation. But this is a solid fucking watch, man. This is
right up your alley.
Yeah. This should be up everybody's fucking alley.
Got a picture of a beautiful cabin in the mountains.
Would you live in that little cabin that they find?
Oh, totally.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Look nice.
Give me some Ethernet internet connection. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get that up there.
Why?
Because I don't even think the cabin's got, like, running water, dude.
It's got that big ass stream outside.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
you should go shit in the stream.
You ever shit in a stream?
Next to one.
I shat in the ocean.
How was that?
It was
Like-
it was horrible.
Like Bud in the water?
I floated out. I lived in Guam, and me and a bunch of kids and a bunch of girls rode our bikes to the beach. And on the way there, I was like, I got the fucking rumblies. And as soon as we got there and we were like all swimming, I kind of just swam out by myself and dropped a sea cucumber.
You dick.
That's impressive, though. Because, I mean, you still got to be kicking to keep yourself up in the water.
Yeah.
As soon as it came out, were you like bolted away? Did you swim away?
If my memory serves, I wasn't quite having to tread. I think I was maybe still in like 6 foot of water.
Oh, you just sound like your tiptoes kind of.
Yeah. And it was just sort of like, and I was trying to make it seem like I was just doing laps, like kind of warming up. Like I didn't instantly run out there. I kind of like flirted a little bit. Then I was like, I'm going to go ahead and go out there and get wet.
Now, was this,
This might have been around the time that I watched The Edge.
I was wondering about the actual poop. Was it like diarrhea or was it a log?
I feel like I had been brewing it for a while. So it probably had, I think it was probably mostly log.
I think diarrhea.
Because
would
once I
probably
was
be worse than water.
once I was done, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I feel like diarrhea is not a one and done. This was a one and that was good.
You feel like we should shit in water? Never, like toilet paper, we don't have to use it anymore.
I think you could still be. I mean, depending on how bad the shit is, even if you're in water, it's still got to come out of between your cheeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're in the water.
Yeah, but
Just rub a hand back
okay,
there.
but when you
and-
sit on a toilet seat, like it kind of separates your ass cheeks, so you'd either have to stand there holding them apart, or
your ass cheeks are in the water. You don't.
yeah, it's still gonna. If it's a bad shit, it's gonna smear all over your ass.
That should be the tagline of the show. Karan, Bones, rate my Letterboxd, please.
4.0.
I was between, I was going to say, I'm going to say a 4.
All right, currently The Edge from 1997 is sitting at a 3.4. And we'll find out my rating when this beautiful plot is over with. Gentlemen, we start with a group of people getting off a plane in Alaska. The group is gathering their bags, and Charles, who's Anthony Hopkins, wanders his way into the hangar. There's a mechanic there. He makes a joke about getting his hands on her. Charles looks at him. He thinks the mechanic is talking about his wife, but actually he's talking about his $20 million airplane.
The Kitty Hawk.
Huh?
The Kitty Hawk.
Yeah. He's rich. Charles is a billionaire. The airplane mechanic does recognize him as this billionaire. The group heads down to a small water plane to start, and they start loading it up. Since Charles is a Brewster's Millions Brewster billionaire, he has his guys, or he has all kinds of dudes that do shit for him. So there's a whole bunch of company men and yes dudes and assistants and shit. They do tell Charles, they ask him whenever he's coming back. They say that the plane, they looked at it, it's safe to fly. Watch out for birds. And ask when he's going to return.
See, that's even another twist that they're like, yeah, this plane is great unless you hit a flock of geese flying through the air.
That just seems like
Hint, hint.
audience foreshadowing, because a lot of people probably aren't aware of that as a problem. And it does seem wild to me that it can take out an airplane.
I mean, it's a pretty small airplane.
Yeah, but I mean, it took out that fucking 737 that had to land on the Hudson too. The fact that you would think that they would just be fucking pulverized, but I guess that's the problem.
Oh yeah, but thank God the Avenger Sully was there.
The computer couldn't have done it.
Yeah, I feel like
Computer models were wrong, dude.
I feel like this is shit that pisses me off. Like, we don't need that. Like, the planes, like, people can see what happened, and that's what happened. It's like little shit like that irritates me.
I think it's enough because if you don't have it, yeah, you're a smarter viewer, but the average person is probably going to wonder, like, why was that big of a deal when you're supposed to be focusing on a really tense, like, escape?
I don't know. I think it takes it away because once it hits, they're like, oh shit, yeah, I fucking mentioned that in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm all for the audience doing a little bit of work. If you can't do the work, get the fuck out.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think if you see a bunch of geese hit a small plane's engine, you say, oh, I bet that's what brought the plane down.
Cut to like a terrorist.
You're not wrong. I guess I'm just trying to, in the same way they set up the obvious relationship.
Yeah. It is 97, so we have established that people are stupider, probably.
I think they're smarter in 97 than they are now.
Well, yeah, I would say that, but this is where we're starting to realize, like, oh, maybe we do need to, like, show that screwdriver at the beginning of the film. Not in this movie. You didn't miss anything. Just using that as an example. Because we're film guys. The group heads down to a small water plane. Yeah, we already talked about that. Robert Greene, who's Alec Baldwin, he answers back, we're going to be back at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. The group heads out on the smaller plane. On this plane, Charles opens a package that he received before he got on the plane. It's a survival book for his birthday. The group asks Jax around. One guy sneezes, and they ask Robert about his fancy watch that he's wearing.
Is that the bird?
It might be.
Okay.
Or the refrigerator.
Okay. That might have been did he tell you about the bird?
No.
There's a bird or something that's stuck in the dryer vent. And it scared the shit out of us like 3 or 4 times. Not to mention the cat that was outside.
Trying to get
both
the bird.
doors.
Now, what is that? That's definitely the refrigerator.
That's the refrigerator.
Okay. We got to unplug the refrigerator. This recording's got to be primo. Yeah, there was a cat out there at midnight while we were trying to watch Blues Brothers, just wailing.
Maybe he's fucking.
It's just
he was just sitting on the patio staring, because I looked through the window at him and he could see me, and I was like, it's 65 degrees. You're not freezing.
Did you put out some tuna water for it or something?
What?
No, I didn't want it to come back.
We're married men. We can't be coming home smelling like tuna water. All right, one guy sneezes. He's
checking your teeth to see if you eaten any placenta.
Yeah, me and the boys eating tuna all weekend.
I swear, babe, it's just Jimmy John's. Thank you to Jimmy John's for sponsoring this live recordings here.
Yeah, and also for killing big animals.
Yeah, he would love this episode.
He humped a couple of sharks. Come on, guys. Sharks, we don't need them. All right, one guy sneezes. They ask Robert about his fancy new watch. It has 2 time zones. So I don't have to add 3. We get we get some titles here. We get some great footage of this plane flying over the snowy mountaintops of Alaska and goes in for the landing. The group gets off the plane and Styles shows them around the cabin. He's kind of like the owner of this, it's probably an Airbnb now these days. But,
well, he wanted to turn it into Jurassic Park.
Bring woolly mammoths back.
Mm-hmm. It's not just for the rich.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, maybe we'll have a coupon day or something. Yeah, you recognize this guy from Lone Wolf McQuade?
Yes. Chuck Norris movie. Karan, we watched it.
Yeah. The old guy?
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that looked old in the 60s and 70s.
You just look like you were like, what the fuck is that?
I knew what it was.
All right.
I was trying to remember who wrote this movie. I feel like there's a famous writer, but I didn't.
Mamet. David Mamet.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably one of his more tame.
Yeah, whenever I saw his name pop up, I was like, I know that's a famous writer. And then I looked at his credits, and it's like a bunch of, like, action shit.
Yeah. He's not quite, who's the West Wing guy? David Sorkin. He's not quite Sorkin-y, but you can, when you know it's a Mamet, you can kind of tell.
He's no R.L. Stein.
Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross.
Likes the Baldwins, though.
He did a Val Kilmer movie called Spartan. That's pretty underrated. And then this MMA movie with I think Tim Allen's in it as a supporting character called Red Belt.
Oh, yeah.
With
I've seen that.
I can't pronounce his name. Sorry, Shitwell Ejiofor.
It was big at like South by Southwest, I think.
Yeah. You might like it actually. It's kind of like low key.
It's pretty exciting.
It's like set up where he's not just like a badass on a mission. He's like an actual MMA fighter, and there's like a bunch of drama. It's kind of like a fighter.
I've never even heard of it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Robert shows Steve a authentic picture and explains you can't find that anywhere. Styles comes up and says, I took that last fall. Style goes on about not hunting because he hasn't sighted in his rifle yet. Charles gives some advice, and Styles is impressed by this.
It's a weird part of the movie that Alec Baldwin is like obsessed with this photo because he keeps saying like, this is what we need. We need authentic and like brooding, but he's shooting Elle Macpherson in like a little skimpy. What does he need? Like a sad Depression era photo.
I would not have minded if we got a little bit of backstory of what he was trying to convey. Like what is the theme or the story of this photo shoot?
Or is he just trying to is he being like, I should be a serious photographer and I want to take like a real photo? Because it seems like he's just doing like Vogue, kind of, Cosmopolitan.
You see this? This is authentic. This is what we need.
Yeah.
Now put some tits on it.
Yeah. Does he want to get that guy to stand next to Elle Macpherson? And
I guess maybe threaten her. I don't know.
Is it a bikini shoot? Like, I don't even know what
she's dressed up kind of like a Native American person. Yeah, but it's like a real, like her dress stops an inch below her vagina.
You know that 70s song that we were obsessed with, Apache? That had that fucking weird video of the dudes like rocking out in the woods. Danny Duck and Steve-O were fucking obsessed with it. If you just like Google Apache music video 70s or something, halfway through that video, there's like 3 girls that come in with like skimpy leather sort of bikinis. And that's exactly what it reminded me of.
I remember. Yeah.
Down, 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 down. Doom, 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 doom.
Die another day.
I'll link it in the Discord. But it is a low key sort of dig at Baldwin, right? That he's like, this is fucking great. And Styles is just like, yeah, I took that. I'm an amateur and I took that last year.
Yeah, because he's like people. I think he says like it's impossible to take photos like this these days. Like, seems like he thinks it's an old vintage camera and like from the 20s or something.
Yeah,
and that dude is like, I took it last fall.
I don't even believe he's a photographer in this movie.
Baldwin?
Yeah,
I think holds the camera up and takes pictures.
No, I don't think is he.
Yeah,
I think he's directing Steven.
No, when she's out there in her outfit, he's the one holding the camera, and it's like.
I think this would make more sense if he was just like an assistant to Charles.
Oh, that's too low. That's
no.
Nah, yeah. If you had told me that he wasn't necessarily the photographer, but he was like the head of the magazine or something, and Harold Perrineau was the photographer, and Baldwin is going on about like, I want this particular theme or whatever, because if you raised him up a little bit where he was a little bit more equal to Charles.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily buy Baldwin the man as a photographer.
I don't buy the like, I'm blue collar, you're white collar kind of thing that he kind of digs at throughout the movie with him. I don't know.
Yeah, it has more of like it's like less blue collar, white collar, and more of a Long Island, Manhattan thing. Yeah. Like you still feel like Baldwin he's not that blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're still flying private on his plane and like all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if the guy who, owns Coca-Cola hung out with the
RC Cola.
Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's like...
I thought you were going to say like another cola that's still like a national cola.
Yeah, that could be. Like, I'm sure the guy who owns RC's doing all right.
It's the Coke guy and the Barks brothers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we get Mickey. She comes out. This is Charles' wife. Gorgeous. She says, Charles knows everything. Try to stump him. Styles says, challenge accepted. He pulls down a paddle and asks what's on the other side. Charles says, a rabbit smoking a pipe. Charles is correct. Styles asks why he's smoking the pipe. Charles answers that he's not afraid of the panther because he knows he's smarter than the panther. Robert is impressed as well with this. Styles explains bear safety to the group and says stand still and move away very slowly if you do see one. And if you need help, just give me a call.
No one does that in this movie. No one stands still and slowly backs away. Everyone screams and runs.
It might be the only thing I have against Hopkins' character. The first time they see the bear, I do think he should have tried to adheed that advice, and the other two ran.
Yeah.
And he was forced to do it. Because I feel like they just instantly fucking bolt. Now he does. We're gonna get to the trick, but
it would have been good if he was like, remember what the guy said, or like, and he was being very calm, and then the other two freaked out.
Yeah,
that would have worked.
Styles does say call him. He says he'll be there like a duck on a June bug.
That's twice on this show we've gotten that reference, right? Was that in Wild at Heart?
Yeah, our number 1 episode, Wild at Heart.
Is it our number 1?
No way.
Yeah, our number 1 episode of all time on the big list. Number 1, Wild at Heart.
Oh, I thought you meant most like download.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on it.
You're telling me you got 8?
It's at 10. Mickey and Robert.
We might get drunk enough during the cocktail commentary to talk real numbers with people. Yeah,
sure.
There's one guy out there that would love that. Mickey and Robert have a rather flirty, or they are rather flirty, and Charles does notice this. Later that evening, Mickey is ready for bed, and Charles asks why his assistant gave him a survival book as a gift. She says because she's a nice person. They chat a little more, and Mickey asks Charles if he can go down and get her a sandwich. This bitch is tucked into bed.
Oh, that's the best time to eat a sandwich, Dan.
No.
Have a little midnight sandwich in a fucking bed like that.
I bet that sandwich would taste so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Charles heads downstairs by lantern to the kitchen.
You get a foot-long Italian in your bed, dude.
That could go either way, Karan.
Just getting that oil and vinegar all over
Mario's
the sheets,
been edging all day.
He grabs all the supplies to make the sandwich. He starts to prepare this sandwich.
Someone left out a Yogi Bear like hunk of ham on the fucking countertops in this place.
Styles does say before this, don't leave food out. That attracts bears. So that's another like...
And the door is like a
wide
little
open. Yeah. Now, I have not eaten meat in over a decade, but I got to tell you, one thing I do appreciate is like, you know, the Thanksgiving or Christmas ham or turkey, and you chunk that bad boy up on a sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely do miss that in comparison to like, you know, a nitrate full deli meat.
Yeah,
There's something about that.
Fry that turkey up a little, put some American cheese, a little mayonnaise.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you just throw all the leftovers onto a sandwich.
Yeah, a little bit of stuffing.
Yeah. Stuffing, mashed potatoes, turkey.
Right on that roll, you know?
Hell yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
A little bit of placenta.
I mean, we've done that in the past. We just do mushrooms instead of turkey. And
Yeah,
then
we're
I
on
still have
mushrooms
it.
right now.
Shh.
Somebody at the window.
I have to pee already.
I think I pooped my pants.
You should have been in the water.
Fuck.
But I'm going to mute and go take a pee. Where you go?
I got a scabbed butthole. I'm all right. You want me to continue?
No, yeah, keep going.
All right.
Nobody cares.
Charles notices that there is a nice chunk of ham left out. The kitchen door's open as well. It's kind of bumping back and forth in the wind. He's pretty freaked out at this point. Heads over, closes the door as quickly as possible. He finishes up and heads through the door where a giant bear is standing right in front of him. Now, the bear appears.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a bear roar?
Yes. Because the next thing after this is it's Alec Baldwin in a bear costume. Like, he threw a rug over himself.
Yes.
But in the scene, there is an audible roar.
A legit, okay. So, yeah, I watched it a few times and I'm like, that's a real bear roar. Like,
Yeah, in my notes, I was like, how the fuck did Alec Baldwin make that noise?
I was like, he needs an Oscar if that was him that made that bear roar.
Oh, they definitely put like a real roar in the audio. Yeah. But for the story, it makes no sense at all.
Charles falls backwards onto the floor. The lights come up. It's a surprise party for Robert's birthday, or Charles's birthday. Robert does take off a full bear fur and runs over to check on Charles.
He's like fucked up too.
He's legit scared.
He's like hyperventilating and shit.
He pooped a little. I mean, he's an older guy.
Yeah, but I guess it's from the audience perspective to let you know that his heart's still strong, right?
Mm-hmm. It's good to have your comment ping-ponged in different...
I thought you were going to go on mine.
No, it's for...
should have.
I'm reinforcing the vibe of
the live.
Of the live, yeah.
I mean, we could follow Kron into the toilet and listen to him pee.
I'm getting nicotine.
All right. Robert is clearly shaken up, as Kron said, but he joins in the group as they toast with champagne. Robert does make a speech about how great Charles is and he opens a few presents. This is another reason, like, he's making speeches about how great Charles is and shit. Like, that's why I don't think that's one of my, like, negatives to this movie. I'm like, you should have made it a different character for Robert.
Oh, I totally buy the ass kissing. I think he still does respect him. I think
despite him, I guess.
Yeah. I think it works. The thing that is really fucking alpha is it's Charles's birthday celebration. He blows out the candles. Everybody's like kind of drinking. Nobody has a piece of cake. And Robert says, "All right, let's call it a night." That tells everybody.
He's ready to get
Yeah, he's the one who like dictates. Nobody has a piece of cake. They leave all their beer and shit out.
It's like a 5-minute thing. I'm ready to drink, motherfuckers. All right, his wife gets him a compass, or not a compass, it's a watch, a pocket watch. Robert gets him a knife, to which Charles gives Robert a coin. When someone gives you a knife, you give them a coin in order to not cut the friendship.
I don't think that's real. I've never heard that before. And I've lost a lot of friends.
You're about to lose 2 more.
And you have a knife for every one of those friends, right?
They all gave me a knife.
Okay.
I gave them nothing in return. And then that was it. Stop talking.
You're sitting here lonely, huh?
Thank you for the knife, Dan.
Well, I got a lot of knives, though.
It's a cool knife.
You're welcome, gentlemen. I thought I'd seen that and I was like, I'm going to get these guys a pocket knife.
Some would say there's nothing in my pockets but knives and lint.
You should have sand.
Is that a song lyric?
No.
Oh.
That's what the Joker has in his pockets in The Dark Knight.
Ah, fuck.
And sand.
Well, yeah.
Some Joker fan I am.
Always got sand.
I mean, for that, you should have married your Harley Quinn.
Fuck. I'd probably have 3 kids by now.
4, dude.
Yeah.
She's like, I got the best one.
I bet she'd share me, though.
She looks like a girl that would be like, let's go to the gathering.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be fun as hell, dude.
Hey, you think we should...
I think I'd clean up at the gathering.
I mean, I think we all would. Like,
Yeah.
We're just... I think we would be hanging out backstage.
Yeah. In a land full of juggalos, the unmakeupped man is king.
I don't
I
think...
thought you were going to say the unmorbidly obese.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to clean up at the gathering.
I mean, I'm a 6, but I'm a 10 at the gathering.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say that, though. But
you are. I'm just saying, I'm thinking about the ladies.
No, but I can remember being in high school and even girls that I thought like I should be pulling those girls had zero interest in me. And I think that's just because there's a certain grease factor.
I bet there's like 10 hot chicks at the gathering.
Yeah. But
I'd
they're all
say
fucking...
20.
Yeah, but are they hot because they're psycho or...
No, I just mean like dispersed in the group. There's got to be 10 good looking
Yeah.
women that have somehow found themselves there.
Yeah, I would have rescued Tila Tequila from the stage. I would have gone up there and
Jesus
blocked
Christ.
her.
You're showing our fucking age.
Isn't she dead?
No, she's still alive.
She might be
I
dead,
think
actually.
she's dead.
I will bet you right now.
I don't want to spread rumors.
Tequila is alive. All right, everybody wraps this up. Like Bones said, Charles is like, all right, let's go to bed.
I think she fucked up her liver on tequila.
I mean, you never sleep with a woman that's named after an alcohol. I think that should be like a rule.
She is still alive.
Told you. Pay up, motherfuckers.
She's not much older than us. She's 42.
Angela Rumpelmintz.
Marianne Miller Lite.
There's no way the traffic isn't getting picked up on the mics.
Well,
It is what it
a
is.
guy just went by on like a stand-up motorized scooter or something. I mean,
I heard the jets this morning.
oh yeah, there's a lot of air traffic over here.
I was like, God damn. All right, everybody wraps it up. Charles kind of hangs around. Styles asks about his pretty lady. He says, yeah, that's my wife. He says, okay, just asking. He said, well, why?
I want to fuck her.
I just like to know who everyone is, says Styles. The next morning, Mickey is doing a probably pretty racist photo shoot these days as a Native American. And Charles watches and sees Robert flirt with Mickey a little more. Styles sees that Charles is reading the survival book that he was given and says that there's a picture of a bear on the page he's reading. He's like, oh, that's a Kodiak bear. It won't even look at you when it kills you. Once it gets the taste for human flesh, that's all it wants to eat. A man-killing machine. Robert and Steven, they get into an argument here about the photo shoot. And it's something to do with, I think it's something to do with the fucking shoes. And one of the other guys is sick or some shit. I don't even know.
I think there was supposed to be another model. And he's the guy that's sick.
Oh, okay.
Which is what prompts them to decide to go get the old Native guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to put this old Native guy with this hot chick in a bikini.
Well, but she's also dressed up. I mean, he's a real Native American, and they have her dressed up in like skimpy Native American clothing, and they're like, "Hey, stand next to this white woman that's mocking your culture."
Yeah, he's not going to go for that.
Yeah, but they could have had like a Fabio type
Yeah,
that was supposed to show up.
Now, does Charles like own just like a marketing company? What does Charles do?
I feel like they don't quite tell you.
Okay. I think he's the top of RC Cola.
Is he one of the Barks brothers?
Yeah.
What's RC? Is that Royal Crown?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they connected to Crown Royal?
No.
Different brothers.
Different brothers? Different mothers. Same dad?
Yeah, same dad.
We see Robert. He's acting like an ass here towards Stephen and Charles.
Which you fucking believe. This is just Alec Baldwin off script.
Yeah, they got him out of the trailer 10 minutes too early. And
they do talk about the shoes. Charles gives him the advice that you can shine shoes with a banana peel. Robert grabs the photo that he's seen from earlier and asks if this guy in the picture is around. Stiles says he's about 80 miles away, has no phone or radio. Robert's like, let's go find him.
he shits in the creek.
He says he's probably most likely hunting. But Robert chooses to ignore this. Charles is still sitting outside and tells Stiles that you can make a compass. Did you know you can make a compass out of a paper clip? Stiles says that's new to him, but takes the opportunity to run a business proposal by Charles. Stiles shows a plan and says he needs about 30 or 40 million so he can really develop this place on the lake.
Crazy ask. I mean,
A shit ton of money.
let me get 30 to 40 mil to it looks like just add a dock for a plane to come into.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the guy had a plan ready.
Guy's
He just
pocketing.
didn't ask for it.
Guy's pocketing 25 mil of that.
It's
Easy.
It's an interesting vibe because I totally believe this dude wanting to develop and everything, but I already feel like the cabin that he does have is so fucking sweet.
It's pretty nice.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It looks like a resort already. I mean, why did he build a fucking 30-room cabin?
Yeah. Like if you told me that entire property was $30 million, I would believe it. I mean, maybe today, maybe 30 years later, but
He wants 2 or 3 more and a ski ramp, I guess. I don't know.
but it's more about Charles' reaction here. We're building out his character of
He's a businessman, but he quickly gets up and goes inside and wants nothing to do with this. He basically tells him like, "Oh, I thought you were like a sincere person."
yeah, I thought you were just being polite. Like he is disheartened because he can't believe that anybody around him is genuine anymore. Everybody just wants something from him. Yeah.
He's a man with a bill, dude.
Yeah.
If we met Charles, we'd be like, "Hey, we got this podcast, man, you know." And he'd be like, "I'm going to eat your liver with fava beans." Inside the cabin, Robert is still trying to figure out how to get
Was
the
that
guy.
your Hopkins?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, dude.
Was it? Don't lie.
Yeah, keep doing it.
My wife. That's Borat. Inside the cabin, Robin, why do I keep saying Robin? Robert is still trying to figure out how to get the guy from the photo. Charles comes in from Stiles' proposal. Robert's like, "We're going to find this fucking dude in the photo. You coming with me?" Me and Steven are going. He's like, "Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it."
Does the wife encourage him to go?
Yeah, she's like, "You should go. It'd be an adventure."
I think he's also doing it to get away from the old guy, though.
Yeah, it's like awkward now.
Yeah, because he comes in and they kind of make eye contact, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to fucking stay here and deal with this dude, so."
I don't need to hear this proposal.
Oh, I lost my edge.
I'll continue to do that then. The guys hit the skies. They land at the new model's house, but he's gone bear hunting at another lake. Charles looks around and finds a deadfall. He explains to Robert and Steven what it's used for.
Out edging. Be back in a few weeks.
It's pretty good. They decided to be bold and keep going to find their new model at the lake that he said he was. They hit the skies again. While up there, on their way to the next location, Robert says he admires how Charles took his joke last night with the bear fur thing. He says he handled it very well. Robert
he
says
almost died. I don't.
Could have killed the guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's trying to kill him, so maybe he's kind of
Fucking
in good spirits about I almost scared you to death.
Yep. You did not die. That's impressive.
It's like, fuck. Robert says he handled it well. It must be hard with all that money, not knowing what people value in you. Never feel sorry for a man who owns a plane, says Charles, and then asks Robert what he values about him. Robert says he likes his style, and I think your wife's pretty cute too. Charles says, well, yes. Now how are you planning on killing me? But before Robert can answer this, a flock of birds smashes through the front of the plane, sending the plane into turbulence. The pilot manages to keep the plane pretty level most of the time, but the blood in the guts of the birds stops the engine, and the plane smashes one of its skis, a ski plane that lands on the lake, into the top of a mountain and sends it into the lake below. Looks pretty good for 97.
Some crazy, just some fun shot. Well, I don't know, fun. But like the two guys up front are just like splattered in blood and shit.
Yeah.
It looks pretty gnarly.
Does the pilot get hit by one of the birds like in his head? He seems like he's almost
I think like another
totally
one
blinded.
comes through the front of the plane and like hits him.
But even before that, all of the Vista flight footage is incredible. It's so inviting and peaceful. So the juxtaposition of this carnage, like even when they get out of the water, you're still like, well, that's like a pleasant place to be,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good place to freeze to
Yeah,
death.
it's not a 2020 movie like on Netflix where it would be all gray and
Snowing.
bland and shit. Yeah.
All right, we go underwater, and everybody's stuck in the plane. The guys help out Steven, and
Well, not Alec Baldwin.
Well-
he just fucking swims up.
He checks on the pilot.
Yeah.
He checks on the pilot. Pilot is dead. I think he is then like, I don't have enough oxygen, and he goes. So because Sam and I were talking about this, I don't know if I necessarily hold him super accountable for not helping with Steve. Like, he does check on the guy. I don't know. I don't know if it's...
he's ripping cocaine off of strippers' tits. Yeah, he's smoking cigarettes and shit. Yeah, you don't have as much.
But...
I agree.
Yeah, because and he did give Charles the knife that Charles uses to save Steven from the seatbelt, so...
That's true.
So he basically saved him.
Yeah. But Charles also grabs the flares too, right?
Yeah,
He's smart
enough and has enough air to do that. It's crazy that the airports won't let you carry your knife on the plane. Like, that should be the reason why you should have a knife on the plane.
Yeah, they should be giving them out to people when
Exactly.
they board.
Maybe they don't, maybe just those like little letter openers, those little credit card shaped things that has the groove and the little blade.
Can you get through a belt with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Easier with a blade.
Belt's pretty thick.
But this thing is a blade. You might have to really tug at it.
Oh, you edging over there? But all right.
You've seen the fucking, you pull up the seatbelt comes off.
So you're edging in your car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Steven.
You should undo your own seatbelt before you help any small child or people that require assistance, by the way.
Never listen to that speech. I'm like, shut up, get it over with.
You know what I do? Because I feel bad for the 90% of people that aren't paying attention. Like, I feel bad for the flight attendant. So I do like pretend to have
You just said it. You just gave yourself up. You said you pretend like you're listening.
Yeah, but I at least offer up I'm trying. And I will pull out the safety card because the safety card is funny.
The fucking great thing about the live records is Bones pretends to listen to our episodes half of the time anyway, so now he actually has to focus. So he's going to be extra funny, these records.
You think I tune out on Zoom records?
Anyway, Kron does the same thing too.
When the chick's doing her speech, I'm in my seat edging. I am dick in hand.
Are you trying to blast right at takeoff?
He didn't
So
even
you can sleep the whole flight?
I'm trying to blast when she puts the buckle in.
Do you say blast off?
I don't know. When she does that you can inflate manually, I usually can't last after that. She purses those lips. Ooh.
What if it's a dude?
I don't care. It's a flight attendant.
I'm not even making it to the buckle at that point, dude.
All right. Charles manages to help Steven out and get some, it's the flares, I guess. But his survival book does float to the bottom of the lake there. The pilot is dead.
If you're going to have a bag of flares, you could have put a few other things in there too, right?
Yeah, I wrote down survival pack, but
how much room does a spool of fishing line and some hooks take up? Yeah.
They pull Steven to the shoreline. Charles performs CPR on Steven, and he comes back to life. The guys head for a clearing to make a fire because they're freezing. Robert actually has some dry matches because of his cigarettes and cigars that he smokes. They're kind of buried in layers of his clothing. The guys try their best to light the fire with a single match, but it burns out before they can get it started. So Robert decides to use a flare, and it lights up the night for this fire. It's a pretty good fire going. They do spend the night there. The next morning, Charles says they need to start collecting wood for a signal fire when they come looking for them. Robert asks why would they come looking for us? Charles says they will. They'll see the note on the cabin. Robert opens up his coat and pulls out the note and shows it to Charles from his jacket. Robert says, I guess we're in for a long walk. Steven starts to freak out a little bit and is like, what the fuck does that mean? Charles says, I read most people lost in the woods die of shame. He says they die because they don't think. Charles draws up a little map in the dirt, and he asks where, it's pretty much saying where he thinks they are from the flight and everything. He says we need to head south because that's where they'll be looking for us, and they should be able to get there by night. He kind of points out a mountain range that they need to make it over. Robert says, how do you know that it's going to be south? Or how are you going to find south? Robert tries to use somebody's watch as a compass, one of the hands.
I think it's his watch, right? He pops because it's...
Yeah.
She got a little engraving on the back of his watch.
Because
to my loving husband or whatever.
Yeah, because Bob does not want to show or share his watch at all.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's broken.
He's making excuses the whole time. Now, question, Dan, did you, in your trivia, if you did any, is there anything about what this decision being correct? Is this the right call to start heading south here, or do you, in a survival situation like this, stay put? What's the standard Bear Grylls assessment?
I did not come across any of that.
Okay. Because I feel like he's making a valid argument. Everybody knows that they went to the dude's house. They don't know that they flew further north.
Does he ask the pilot, or does the pilot say something about they're going south, maybe?
I thought he said it was another, half hour north by plane or something. He made it. Or maybe I'm connecting that because he keeps bitching about going south.
Oh, it's Robert who asks where Big Beaver Lake is. And the pilot says, it's another 30 or whatever.
Yeah, we got to go further.
So maybe that's where Charles is picking that up?
Yeah, he's saying everybody knows that we went to this guy's house. They don't know that we headed further north. So they're only going to be searching in between
The other cat,
first that and
location.
the initial place. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that would make sense.
Because one of the things I do like about this movie is it's so easy to make Charles correct all the time and have Robert argue and bitch with him. But I think there's a good balance of Robert conceding to what Charles is saying and having valid arguments against it. You know, and great thing about Steve is like, whoever's going to try to get me out of here, like I'm all for. I feel like a lot of survival movies, half the people are bitching and complaining. And, you know, there's an argument about who's sort of the alpha and who's guiding, you know. Frank Grillo in The Gray is a good example of, you know, who the fuck put you in charge. But I like that everybody kind of defaults to the fucking genius rich man.
All right. Steven says that he lost his watch, and Robert says mine's busted, man. It's useless. Charles says that birds fly south, so we can follow them. So he starts kind of looking up for the birds. Robert starts apologizing for getting them into this mess. Charles calms him down and heads off to make a compass. Charles does have a paper clip and uses a leaf and some standing water to get the compass going. It works, and Charles determines that south is, and he points it out. Robert does question this and says, "What if it's not?" And Robert picks up a stick and says, "That doesn't feel," or he picks up a stick and says, "This doesn't feel south." Charles says that that don't make any sense and head south. Let's head south. So the guys start hiking through that Alaskan mountain range. Pretty nice. Pretty beautiful.
Can you guys feel the pulse in your bones?
Doesn't feel south?
We feel south now.
I hear
the southern part of the United States.
I hear in the South town they don't play.
I just stare at the sun for an hour and then figure out which direction it is.
Yeah, you must blind yourself and more attune your magnetic core. Your eyes will skew that. I mean, when you're that far north, that kind of adds the difficulty. Like living in the Midwest, you sort of develop, oh, I know the sun rose over there, it sets over here. You know, times a year it might be at a little bit of a tilt, but I do feel like here I could figure out where south is. But when you're up north, sun pretty much is only on one section of the horizon, right?
Yeah, I guess
depending on what time of year.
Yeah.
So I do like that conversation of that doesn't feel south. That feels opposite of.
Yeah, it feels like something that would be said in that situation.
Yeah. The only other thing I could think of is, well, I know we crashed from that way, but is that even remotely doable once you got out of the water? Your orientation would be all fucked up. But if you could remember, you know, we came in and wrecked from that side of the lake, would you want to follow that, like the reverse of that flight path?
Yeah, I feel like you should just head the direction that your plane was coming from.
Charles starts explaining to them about how the Vikings sailed their ships. And obviously he starts running out of breath due to altitude. Robert says, "You should probably conserve air." The guys stop off to drink from a lovely waterfall, and Robert takes some time to ask why Charles asked he asked him about the comment he made about how you're going to kill me before the plane went down. Charles says, "For my wife." Robert says there's a strange way he says that's a strange way to meet girls. Robert says, "Why would I kill you, Charles? For the money?" Robert shrugs this off and says something along the lines of, "Rich people are very different. They always think somebody's trying to take them out and get their money." And he kind of walks away. And he kind of does that throughout the whole movie. He just kind of plays it off as a joke. They continue their hike. Steven asks how much longer and states that there's a pain in his side. Charles tells him to spit under a round rock. Does this work?
It's just getting his mind off of it.
Okay. I've tried it since this movie. It does not work.
Oh, you're not spitting hard enough.
Fuck. Charles asked Robert if...
How round are those rocks?
As I was going to say, I don't think I have them round enough.
You're getting oval rocks. Can't be egg-shaped.
It's super hard to try to spit under my balls. Those are my rocks.
Spit under your balls.
Into your asshole?
No, just...
Are you allowed to pull your balls up towards your stomach?
I'm trying to, but my balls, which are 2.5.
I think I could do it. I think I could do it in 3 or 4 spits.
You can't stretch. It just has to be a straight pull up.
I'm saying, I'm straight pulling. I think I could generate enough.
You can't.
If I can.
You can't spit onto your own gooch, dude. No, you couldn't.
If
You'd have to lay down.
That's what I'm saying. You're laying down.
No, you can't lay down.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
Well,
The only way it'd work is legs over your head, and then you're spitting into an arc.
Yeah. You're just going to have to trust me. I'll try it later.
Kron, how much money do you have? Because I kind of want to see this. We can do a live Discord.
I think I would bet every dollar that I have that Bones couldn't do it.
This won't be out for like a month, though. So you just doing this live, there'd be zero context. I mean, we do that already. But
I mean, if it hits your ass cheek, that doesn't count. Like, you gotta land it.
Yeah, what do we
you gotta
constitute
land it
under the balls?
Between the balls and asshole.
You're trying to spit onto the balls.
I would request a magic marker to identify the target because I'd hate to get in
You're not going
out
to
of the
be
line.
able to see it.
I'm going to say...
You're going by feel where the marker touched you?
I think I can stretch enough to where I can see.
I'm going to say if you hit balls, it counts.
No, it's between the asshole and the balls.
No, it's not the gooch. You're trying to spit on the balls.
It's under a rock. Not on top of a rock.
I agree with you. Why are you disagreeing that it's possible?
I mean, I guess it's possible. You'd have to get real lucky, though.
How many tries does
You
he
can't
get?
aim.
You've never seen like a real hardcore jackhammer porn where the lady shoots a loogie?
From where?
And onto what?
I'm saying, knees behind her head, and she's, generating. It's probably the 3rd or 4th shoot of the day.
See, we know what fucking his search engine is.
Come on.
All right, Charles asks...
And now I have Tila Tequila in my internet history, so.
Charles asks if he thinks he's a fool for saying for asking him about the killing comment about his wife. Did we already cover that?
Yeah.
No, I think he asked about it again. For money, that's a weird way. Robert calls Charles a fucking idiot and starts messing with Steven, but they are interrupted by a growling sound.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, Steven's tummy becomes an antagonist of this movie.
They all shut up and they start looking around as they hear more growling. All of a sudden, a bear comes out of the wood line. All the guys back up and make a run for it. My notes say make a fun for it. The guys come to a clearing for a rest.
It'd be 10% fun.
I mean, I don't know, man. When we went to Colorado, like every corner we took, I was like, fuck.
That's why I clapped every 20 feet or so. I was
like every time we came out, and I was like, okay.
Does Steve still have that bear spray, or did we take it back?
We used it on him. He was pretty pissed off about that. But it was funny, though.
It was either that or he had to spit underneath his balls, and he refused to, so
I think he
he got bear sprayed.
He's got huge balls. The guys come to a clearing for a rest, but they
I
hear...
don't know if that makes it easier to spit under him.
That's a bigger target. Oh my God. We've wasted 20 minutes on spitting on your own balls.
If you're
Underneath them. I can spit onto them. That's easy.
That's why we had to define
do
what
that every week.
underneath was. If you're saying the gooch, I think Dan is saying if you're kind of bat winging your balls.
I'm talking about you're
the
pulling
bottom, up
and you're spitting underneath. It's not the gooch. It's the little...
Put your leg down. I got it from the description, dude.
Then what's your issue, man?
I don't think you could do it. I don't think anyone could do it.
Well, that's why we're here. We still got
just
a long ways
asking
to
questions,
go.
Kron.
All right, they hear the bear growling again. They bolt down the mountain at a faster pace. This time they come to a waterfall. They realize they can't jump across it, so they decide to make a bridge out of the biggest downed tree that they could find.
This is cool as hell.
This is stupid as hell.
This is fun.
I don't think they'd be able to lift it.
No.
It's a huge tree.
The adrenaline pumping.
And
they use leverage.
It's laying the opposite way, so they got to fully...
And the way, the way they lift it up is that bear would have already ripped two of them apart.
Nah.
Bart would have had...
It's tilted,
their
but
placentas.
it's still kind of like on a hillside. Mm-hmm. And they kind of alternate from pushing from the top to get the leverage. And then as it starts to get like kind of straight up, they all kind of get at the bottom of it and push it over. I think it's totally doable. You got your adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, but how much does the tree weigh?
How much long does it take to get the fucking logs to prop it up?
Okay.
I'm saying it's cool in a terms of Hollywood movie.
Yes. If we're arguing the time that the bear would have caught them, yeah, but that's what suspense is for, because it adds to him having to cross while what's his name's still on it. The bird flipping.
The bird's in there.
It's okay. The sound quality this is already so trash that adds atmosphere.
We'll take the listener in.
This may not even be recording.
Fucking hell. I'm not redoing this.
All that bottom ball spitting lost.
They somehow get this giant tree up with the help of some support trees and push it over the waterfall and start to cross. Stephen makes it over. Robert has a little trouble but makes it. And Charles is waiting for Robert to cross but Bart the bear is closing in. Robert has to move. He gets about halfway across when Bart starts to slam down on the tree, shaking it. Pretty good. This is all real bear action. There's no CGI. This is all a real bear doing all this. That's the cool shit about this movie.
Some of the compositing doesn't quite look right 30 years later. You can definitely tell that Anthony Hopkins is running through the woods 4 or 5 days before. Yeah.
I still like it better than if it was like, we'll just CGI the whole bear.
100%. Yeah. And then I think the only time there's any dodgy CG are the trees that are getting knocked down.
Yes.
But
it still looks cool when they
good.
show them the actual knocked over trees like the next day. All right, Bart the bear starts shaking down this tree off.
Are you walking across this cautiously?
No,
or are
I'm
you
running.
bolting?
I'm running.
I think I'd rather keep my momentum going.
Yeah.
And bolt.
Charles does, the supply bag does fall off of his shoulder, I guess, and loops around one of the branches. Bart the bear continues to shake it, and he succeeds with shaking it off the rock. This causes Charles to fall into the waterfall, but Robert is able to grab Charles before he falls over. Bart the bear gives a nice roar, and he walks off. The guys make their way up the mountain some more, find a clearing to catch their breath. Charles breaks down a little and thanks Robert for saving his life. Robert jokes again about the whole trying to kill him thing. We get famous. When we get famous, I like we get the famous "I like my coffee like I like my women" joke. And the guys continue their journey.
Bitter and murky.
This bird is... Nature is weird with us.
Dan's theory was maybe it's like in the dryer vent or something.
It's trying to get in the dryer vent or something.
I tapped the dryer to try to startle it away, but I might go outside and take a look.
Go outside and just take the cover off or something.
It might be. I was hoping that cat would take care of it.
All right. The guy's plan is to get to the highest point of the mountain and start a signal fire. Stephen questions why they would come and look for them again. Robert explains that Charles is a billionaire. When one of them gets lost, they tend to come looking for them. The guys do burn a signal fire through the night into the next morning, but no rescue. Charles is like, all right, fuck it, let's go. The guys head back up the mountain and end up right where they started when the plane crashed beside the lake. Oh, that's a bummer.
Now,
start the journey over again, dude.
They don't seem as mad at Charles as they could have been.
But that they say that shit happens all the fucking time with people that get lost.
Yeah.
It happens in the Blair Witch Project and shit like that.
You just walk in a circle.
Yeah.
Well, and
which is crazy.
They did have to run away from the bear. So that could have taken them off their course. True. And then he uses the excuse that maybe his belt buckle magnetized the...
Yeah, he pulls out the paperclip that he used and says that, and Robert just grabs it and fucking throws it. And everyone starts to lose their mind for a minute. Stephen keeps saying that they're going to die out there. To calm Stephen down, Charles makes him make a spear for fishing. Charles asks if they can... Are they really going to come find... Or Robert asks Charles if they're really going to come and find him since he is an important man. Charles yells, and we are just going to lay... Are we just going to lay down and die, Bob? Robert agrees and apologizes. All of a sudden, we hear a loud cry coming from Stephen. He's cut himself with a knife.
Fuck. So deep. Like, I don't know how he was trying to shape that spear. It looks like he had it resting on his leg and then stabbing downward into it.
He's tired and hungry. So.
I guess, but goddamn, looked intentional.
It
fucking wound he had.
It fucked me and my friend up when we rented this, because we rented this at like a sleepover. And it was like 10:30 at night when we started this. And in my memory, it was so much more graphic. So I was like really fucking prepared for it this time. But like you said, it's super deep, but it wasn't near as bad as my 12-year-old brain. The bird is going fucking nuts. Yeah, we might need to pause and...
We're almost there. We're almost to a pee break. Charles dresses this wound. That night, Stephen is feeling better and tells Charles that he's a decent dude. Stephen asks if they're going to get out of this. Charles says yes and shows him the North Star and says tomorrow we go south to the river and the river will take us home. Stephen falls asleep and Charles goes to wash his hands and chats with Robert. Robert says that this is more wild than snorting coke off of models. Charles does say that's pretty funny, and they both laugh. Later that night, a storm comes pounding in. The guys and Stephen it starts to storm on the guys. Stephen's not feeling so hot. Charles walks out into the storm, and Robert follows, asking about the choices they've made and if they're going to make it out alive. Charles does catch a glimpse of a bloody bandage hanging in a tree. He asked Robert, "You should have burned those. Why are they there?"
Buried them. You wanted him to bury it. Yeah.
Robert says, doesn't really pay attention to it, and says he's trying to talk to Charles about what he was talking about at first, but Charles is more focused on that. He says it puts the smell of blood in the air. As that's happening, Bart the bear rushes in, grabs Stephen by his leg. Charles tries to smack Bart the bear with a flaming stick from the fire, but Robert pulls him back away from the bear. Bart makes short work of Stephen. Charles and Robert make a run for it. And we make a run for a pee break. I'm looking in.
I think I like the bubbly ones better.
I almost grabbed them, and I was like, I don't know if everybody likes that, so.
I do like the sparkling, but for the sake of not burping on the record.
All right, fuck me, right?
No.
Fuck me, right?
No, I'm saying that I'm grateful that you got the flat.
Bones' words, not mine.
Normally, I don't like flat.
Elaborate?
I like big ass and titties.
I like big ass titties. I don't think you heard me. I like big ass titties.
Guys, I spit under my balls on the pee break.
Well,
First try?
so it can be done.
Well, for one of us. I don't know if either of you could do it.
Was that your argument the whole time that we can't do it?
I don't think you could do it.
Did you record this?
Yeah,
So
but
you did.
it's well, I took record of it.
What I didn't think about was the fact that my huge hog would be in my face the whole time were I in this position. So I guess I need to ask whether or not I'm allowed to push that out of the way.
Welcome back, everybody, to 5 Day Rentals. We are in the middle of the edge. Coming to you live from SMASHVILLE, Tennessee. The boys are sitting in front of me. I can see them in the flesh. I can touch them. How does it feel?
To all be together?
Yeah.
Feels like high school, dude.
Less cigarette smoke.
Oh, we should get some cigarettes.
Tell them.
We should definitely get some cigarettes.
Tell them what we...
I said that it's Kron's turn to smoke this time around because I smoked 2 packs last time.
I'll get a pack if we all have one.
Bones can't have one.
I can't have one.
We could do one. We'll throw the pack away.
No, you'd have to take my keys too.
It's a bad idea.
It is.
This
We're not
is
going to do
your
it.
idea.
I shouldn't do it either.
I am fully telling you not to do it.
I would be worried if I had one too, that I would.
I'm not worried. I know me. But you two, I would like to see it. But and ask for updates on new episodes of 5DR that drop every Wednesday.
We shouldn't do it, but we should all have one together.
Yeah. We should, but we shouldn't.
All right, so we're buying a carton then.
Why don't they sell just like
One cigarette.
5 cigarettes?
Loose cigarettes?
Yeah, just like a...
I mean, that started a whole movement.
Yeah. But I'm saying
That we
just
needed.
for like guys' trips, you know? Like,
I think they figure that's what cigars are for, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want a cigar.
I don't want a cigar either.
Fuck that. I want a cigarette. God damn it.
I mean, that's...
We're not smoking. We're drinking. It's fine.
What pack
I have
would
my
we pick
nicotine.
up if we got one?
You can't do this to yourself.
We're going to go... it's got to be menthol. Like a light menthol is probably what I'm...
How long has it been?
Since I had a cigarette?
Yes.
Probably while I was in college. Because I remember having one at a poker night one night. And then I don't think I've had any since then. And that was when I was still in school.
So like 7, 8 years
Yeah,
ago?
it's got to be like 7, 8 years.
Bones?
It was 8 years ago. It was the day that I got off the phone with the car dealership and said, hold my car. I'll be there Monday. Because they gave me the week. They were going to hold the car. And I had to call them by Wednesday. And I was going to go because dealership was 2 hours away. And I was just fucking freaking out. I was like, am I going to commit to this fucking car payment? And I got off the phone, and a chick at work that smoked, she had just walked around the corner and lit one up. And I was like, are those menthols? She's like, yeah. I was like, can I have one?
So me and Bones both 8 years ago. Now, Dan, I know you had like an eighth of a cigarette a year ago.
Yeah.
It was more than what you did.
I asked him last night if he's going to add a pack every year he tells the story.
Yes.
Because
You took 2 puffs and then let them burn out.
I smoked... Oh, well, I was giving them to Danny too, so... And Steve. So I maybe had like half a pack of those 2 packs.
We got to move on to the edge because A, people don't want to hear this.
You're both fucking edging right now because you haven't had a cigarette in 8 years.
And B, there's probably people that might be listening to this that are also going through the struggle of once a smoker.
Always a smoker.
I don't want to be responsible for.
Well, hey, we got 2 more episodes. We might be smoking by 3, maybe.
Somebody stopping by the gas station on the way into work.
The next morning, Charles and Robert are huddled together as it snows down upon them in the mountains. They start a fire, and Charles says they move at night and find the river, and they walk out of here. Charles makes a trap to get some food. They end up catching a squirrel, but as they are celebrating their small victory, they hear a helicopter, and it flies by them. They both take off after it. Robert being way faster than Charles. Should we build this same contraption to catch this bird out here?
A signal fire?
No, the little trap.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but you must use the only materials that they had access to. So you're going to have to go out and
All right, done.
Get some branches.
If I get the bird, you guys got to eat it.
I'll eat its egg. Keep it in the cage for a little bit. And if it drops an egg, I'll eat that.
They run as hard as they can to keep up with it.
Kron calls dibs on the placenta.
Mm-hmm.
And make it to a clearing, but the helicopter continues on without seeing them. Charles finally catches up with Robert.
A bird placenta's got to be like a little tic-tac, right?
Dude.
What if this is a boy bird?
I think they both lay eggs. You just wouldn't have
What?
a placenta, right? No, I've got that backwards. Both male birds have placentas. They don't lay eggs.
You squeeze them hard enough.
Because they can... Well, because birds can switch their sexuality.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
Yeah.
It's Jurassic Park.
No,
Birds
we're
came
doing
from
the
dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs could...
Charles finally catches up with Robert. He tells Robert,
What are you reading? I don't fucking read.
you can make fire from ice. Robert goes on full of, I'm sick of this shit. Shut the fuck up, Charles. And says, it doesn't work. And he walks off. Charles asks if he has anything to live for. Robert asks if they are coming back. Charles says no, because they scouted the area already, so they probably won't turn around. Robert starts to cry and says, I guess tell them how you tell me how you can make fire from ice. And he explains it.
So how do you guys feel about, the stereotypical survival story, right? There's going to be, like we talked about, somebody fighting for alpha, maybe somebody sort of arguing that. Usually you've got some beta type guys that are sort of just usually like cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But in this one, we got Steven. Steven was our audience proxy. Mm-hmm. He's killed off. I do think there's an interest, like you start to then relate to Robert in the like, shut the fuck up, Charles. Like you kind of get the stress that he's feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like what separates them is that Charles read half of one book. It's like...
But I think it's a lot to put on the character of Robert and on Baldwin, because he's supposed to be playing this mischievous sort of, like, is it to make you forget that he does want to kill him? That they keep piling all this on, and he saved him, and he's...
I think maybe it gets to a point for Robert of maybe, holy shit, maybe we're not going to make it out of this. So
I think part of it is kind of, I mean, even if the guy knows slightly more than you still got to get out of the woods. So It's like easier to survive as two people than one guy. Even though you're trying to kill him, like, can we get to a phone or something? I'll just do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going at. Like, all right, I'm going to go with the flow here so we can get the fuck out of here. And then I'll figure out how to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just think it's one of the things I like about this is usually you have a larger group of people that are sort of playing stereotypical roles. And this one just does it. You whittle down to 2 people. Because in my memory of it, Steven lasts a lot longer. You still have like another hour of the movie, pretty much, with just Charles and Robert.
I guess you got to get rid of somebody early, though, because they established the whole, like, once a bear kills a guy, that's all it wants to eat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you need one guy to get bumped off. So
Yeah.
now we have this motivation of this bear's just going to follow these 2 guys.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a draft where, like, the pilot made it, but he was already all bloody, and he's the first one to go, and Steven survives a little longer as the, audience proxy. But it's a good movie, man.
All right, they continue to trek towards the river. They are exhausted and cold. They finally make it to the river after a long day of hiking. Charles makes some tackle out of his watch he got for his birthday. Robert rests a little bit while Charles tries his luck in fishing. As Charles is fishing, he just so happens to look up, and guess who's standing there? Bart the bear.
Maybe the best shot of the movie.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think when he looks up, that's when he looks the most like Hannibal. And it's kind of like, I think that bear should fucking take off, dude.
Credentials, please.
I think this is right after Silence of the Lambs.
It's like 6 years
92,
after.
okay,
90,
never mind.
91 was Silence.
And Hannibal was
2001.
Oh, same writer. That's what I saw in the credits. The guy who wrote this wrote Hannibal.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah.
But yeah, there are moments whenever Hopkins does say some certain lines, you're like, yeah, that sounds just like Lecter.
I wonder if working on this with Mamet, if maybe he pushed Mamet to do.
Yeah, that could be. I guess if you're Hopkins at that point, you could probably say, I want this writer, I want this director, because they can't make the fucking movie without you. So,
and he seems like he's having a fucking blast in this. Like I
believe he almost died. He got hypothermia because he refused to, he wanted to be out in the cold and not wear a jacket and shit like that. He wanted to be in character.
Doing the Daniel Day Last of the Mohican shit.
And I think it finally caught up to him. So I think they delayed a few days because he had to go in and I think he went to the hospital.
Yeah, I think Alec Baldwin held a gun to him and said, put on a fucking coat.
Well,
Anthony, you got to stop spitting on your balls, dude. You're getting frostbite down here.
Bart the bear rushes and Charles takes off running way faster than Anthony Hopkins can run. I don't think he can run that fast. How old is he here?
There's a fucking bear there, dude.
Okay, I guess I'll give him that.
Now, do I think that's actually Anthony Hopkins running? No.
I bet you would give 100% if a bear was chasing you.
110. Charles takes off running through these beautiful aspen pines. I think that's what they are. I don't know. Bart the bear is very large, so he just starts snapping these pines in half as he's chasing Charles.
A little place called Aspen.
Charles makes it to a pile of downed trees.
Where the bears flow like wine.
And Bart the bear tries to get him, but can't reach him.
And the women flock like the salmon of Capistrano.
Yeah, Dan didn't want to watch that last night.
Oh, what
movie?
You
Dumb
picked
and
the
Dumber.
Blues Brothers over Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
What were the 2 options? I gave you something in Dumb and Dumber, and you were like, I'd rather watch Step Brothers. So I was like, no.
It was Air Force One, Dumb and Dumber, and then Step Brothers.
But it was another comedy, I thought.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
It was The Color Purple, Schindler's List, or
Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest, or Step Brothers. And I was like, Step Brothers.
Wow.
We had a good, Oscar-y chat on the way down here.
Were those the 5 DVDs in this house?
Sadly, we don't have the DVD library that we Did last year.
If we make anything of this, we just need to purchase that house. It'll work.
I live there.
Yeah, you're pretty close to the lake, so you've always got a place to shit.
All right, Charles gets onto gets out of the other side of this pile of downed trees and makes it back to the camp where Robert is. Charles says the bear's back and is a man killer. They throw about 15 sticks and logs out to surround them. They're all lit on fire, so they're surrounding themselves by fire here.
There's another cool little overhead insert that shows that ring. That's pretty cool, too.
It's a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
There is some like very, movie magic fire in this thing, though. Like the ring that they make doesn't burn out into the wilderness. There's also a part, I think it's right before Steven gets killed, where it's like their fire is fully out in the rain and it's still going somehow. Like it didn't get...
That must have been one of the flare fires.
Yeah, I guess that flare still got some life to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert's snorting cocaine off of fucking strippers. His urine must be... No telling what's in that shit.
Gonorrhea.
Are you saying that this is License to Kill cocaine?
I don't know what License to Kill is.
It's turned into gasoline.
Yeah, it's turned into gasoline.
Oh, are you talking about...
I don't think cocaine on its own is
Are you
normally...
talking about Thunder in Paradise? Didn't we cover an episode like that?
License to kill.
Kill. Night falls and the guys are still in the middle of this ring of fire. We can hear Bart the bear growling around them, but they can't see him. Charles says he's toying with us. Robert asks what the plan is. Charles says we can move, and we either move or we're probably going to die here. Robert asks again what the plan is. We're going to kill him, says Charles. They do survive the night. The next morning, they start putting the plan into motion. The plan is to create a deadfall and use spears to take Bart the bear down. Use his own weight to kill him. Robert asks how we are going to lure him into the deadfall. Blood, says Hannibal, and cuts his thumb. Robert doesn't believe in this plan.
I'm not cutting any part of my digits.
It seems like you could take like a section of your leg or
my arm.
Yeah.
I don't want something that's going to impede me being able to grab.
Yeah, just if you're trying to like get up a steep hill, now you've got this cut that you're trying to fucking manage to.
Charles gets a little emotional here. You want to die out here, don't you? Well, then go ahead and die. I'm not going to die. I'm going to kill the bear. Charles makes Robert repeat this. I'm going to kill the bear. He repeats it louder. What one man can another man do? That's my mistakes in notes.
Did you type that on the iPad?
In my notes, yeah.
Okay. But I mean...
What one man can't, another man can do.
No, that's still not it.
Not it?
That's not it.
What one man can't do, another man can do.
There's no can't. What one man can do, another man can do.
If I do one man, I can do two.
That's true, too.
Okay. Robert chants
You got
this...
2 holes.
3. Robert chants this multiple...
Bro, you got 3 holes?
And I can spit on my own balls.
Damn.
Robert chants this multiple times and now has some confidence.
This guy's got 3 assholes.
Where's the extra hole at? Don't show me. Just point on the doll.
Charles says, good, because today I'm going to kill the motherfucker.
And you love to see it. You love to see this switch from Hopkins. He's having an absolute fucking blast. He's been playing tame this whole time.
I mean, you got to have some confidence if this is your plan.
But a big part, like his arc here is he's bored, right? He's an old, rich, bored guy that is tired of people just milking him for shit. He's got nothing to really challenge him anymore.
You guys think you'd ever get bored with $1 billion? I mean, this is also how Epstein's and shit gets created.
Yeah.
because they're just bored.
I think a big part of it is like, at what age are you becoming a billionaire, right? If you're fucking
38.
Mark Zuckerberg and you're a billionaire by the time you're 20, you probably are going to get bored in 20 years. If I had $1 billion now, I'd probably do a good decade pretty kick-ass.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, I mean, if you got that much money, the biggest thing would just be like, well, I don't have to go fucking work a 9 to 5 anymore. You know, like you could just hang around, fucking fly some, you know, just fucking travel and shit.
But he's probably not liquid, right? I mean, it's all in stock
Yeah,
and
it's all
shit.
in
And, you know,
stocks and bonds.
these guys, you know, they'd be the first to tell you, it's like, no, my drive is to work. And, you know, they make it rough for everybody else because Mark Zuckerberg should have just fucked off 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know?
So say I win $750 million.
Okay. We're saying after taxes?
After taxes.
Okay.
So 890, take a full chunk, 750, whatever. Now, how long would it take you guys to get fucking mad at me when I just call you and I'm like, we're going to France, be there Wednesday?
Well, I don't have
would
to.
you be
I mean,
mad?
I got work and shit.
If you're paying for it.
Yeah, it's all on me.
But here's the thing, though. And when I tell you I can't take off work, are you then going to go, well, I'm going to pay your salary? Like, are you going to float me?
I'm not as soon. Well, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a few $1 million. But I'm going to put
your 750,000.
No, 750 million.
Oh, okay.
But you have to put up with me, and you got to go wherever I want to go for 2 years. No arguments.
I don't know if I could handle you as like a Rob Dyrdek.
I just start dressing.
You know, but but that whole sort of Bam Margera vibe that you would have, I think.
You think I would be
get
that dangerous at this age?
Yes.
Now, 10 years ago. Oh, God.
Yeah, you have eased up a little bit. You know what the great thing about being fucking rich has to be?
I'd be really good at it.
Is that you probably don't sit around with your buddies and dream about being rich. You don't, because everybody has this fucking thought once a week, right? Man, what would I do if I had $700 million?
Yeah.
And they don't have to do that anymore. That's 20 extra minutes a week that they get to be just fucking rich.
I just think that
They're working. God damn it.
I just think that shit would be hilarious.
The 30 minutes you spend a week thinking about being rich, I'm out there grinding.
Always be closing. Yeah, I can't mow the lawn. I got to go to Montana with Dan.
I mean, I think if you were like, hey, here's your $5 million up front.
No. You got to earn it.
No, I need you to like, you got to cover my salary and shit.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
If I'm just willing
you're not. Yeah.
I'm going to live off the interest off a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much would you ask me for? Like when I'm like, all right.
I mean, if you gave me $5 million and then you were like, I'll fly you to France, I'd probably take that deal. Why not?
Yeah.
It's like I'm getting a salary to do nothing except wait around for you to decide
to be your friend.
So I give you 3.
Your entourage.
Because I'm a millionaire.
I said
I'm a business
5.
guy.
I said 5.
I'm saying 3.
All right,
I'm
we'll
doing
split the difference.
business.
We'll cut
3,
it 4.
but you cover all expenses.
I cover all expensive whenever I call.
Well, let's call it 4.
Let's call it 3.8.
I'm out. I don't like how you're doing this shit, dude. You got all that fucking money. You can't give me 4.
It's going to your head already.
Yeah.
How about I'll do 3.5.
Enjoy your ivory tower, fucker.
I'll give you 0.3 in stock.
No.
Of what?
I don't know. I'm gonna
Are
buy
you
something.
going public?
I'm going to buy something.
Well, I have to take whatever ball spit stock you are fucking investing in.
Ballspit dropped 5 points on the NASDAQ this
It's
morning.
called 5-day rentals.
You're going to pick
What are
one
they
that's
doing
like BLSP because it's ball spit.
Ball spit. All right, hear me out. Ball spit. The guys put the smell of blood in the air, and they wait and they listen for Bart. It takes a few minutes, but Bart finally shows up. They step back slowly as Bart growls and roars. The guys are trying to lead him to the trap. Bart finally makes it to the spot, and Robert hits the trap. A giant ball of logs comes out that are spiked, and it comes swinging past, but misses Bart, but just barely.
It seems more unbelievable to me that they set up this trap than they pushed that log over 20 minutes ago.
I agree. That doesn't even show them making it, I don't think.
Yeah, that would be like a week of work out there.
It's meant to be a surprise because you're expecting the one trap, but...
Yeah, it is like, what the fuck? Okay.
Has that ever been done in real life?
Like a big swinging thing?
Yeah, like successfully.
Probably like in the
Aztec sort of.
caveman, maybe. I don't know.
It had to come from somewhere.
Maybe it was like a woolly mammoth, something that is large enough you can't really miss.
That's a good point.
A big, slow thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on the downswing, though, the spikes do manage to hit Bart in the sides. The guys run.
It's a dog.
And Bart is pissed off, and he follows.
What's a bear but a big dog?
Pretty much. The guys jump off a bluff and run through a stream as Bart makes his way down the bluff. The guys run into their next trap station with Bart hot on their trail. They start attacking Bart with spears, but Bart puts up a good fight against them. Bart eventually gets pissed off and stands on his hind legs and is about to Tyson punch Charles, but Robert takes advantage of this and is able to stab Bart in the side with a spear. But Bart is able to punch Robert now, and he does. Bart gets on top of Robert and does some damage. Charles is back on his feet and stabs Bart a few times with the spear and leads Bart away from Robert.
It's not quite Revenant bad, but he is getting tossed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Leo took a bigger chunk.
Yeah. Well, Leo's doing the proper stay on your stomach, try to protect your neck thing. Robert is like fucking in missionary, sort of exposed to him.
Trying to
spread eagle out there for the bear to get it all.
Don't go in dry. I haven't spit on my balls yet.
That's what I was going to say. Charles leads Bart to an embankment and reinforces his spears.
How many times has Bart popped up?
Bart?
An embankment?
Embankment?
Yeah, there you go.
Did I say embankment?
He leads the barking Bart to the embankment.
He reinforces his spear between two rocks. Bart sits up and falls into the spear because he's on his hind legs. Bart does fall on top of Charles. Robert is hurt, but he goes back to check on Charles. He helps lift Bart's giant paws off of Charles. They lay up against Bart to catch their breath. Later that day, they got a fire going and they're cooking up Bart for a nice meal. Robert is complaining about not having any salt for some fucking stupid reason. The guys make some souvenirs for Bart.
Fucking guys always got to complain about something.
This is the first time you got fucking food. Shut up. You don't need fucking salt, dude.
Could you just like rub the steak in your armpit and get like some
probably
sweat on there? Can you season with sweat?
What are you doing? Salt.
Seasoning.
All right. What was I yelling about? Oh, they make some souvenirs from Bart. Charles says all his life he wanted to do something exciting, and Robert says, well, this would count. The guys make a new compass and head out all decked out in bear fur now.
Oh, the necklace is a sweet moment because he's making a necklace out of is it a tooth or the claw?
It's a claw,
and
yeah.
Robert's like, I take it you're going to make one of those for me too. And he hands it to him. I think it's, they're bear brothers now.
Is that what you call each other when you kill a bear?
Yeah. Brother Bear? Wasn't that a Disney movie?
Yeah.
And the country bears?
About 2 guys that kill a bear.
I think so.
They continue to hike, and Charles says after all this, he's going to change his life.
Bones, if you killed, I mean, you are vegetarian, but if this happened to you, would you eat some of the meat?
In this situation, yeah.
I mean, it was coming at you.
It's coming at me. It's a survival situation. I do have, I mean, I recognize that the human brain was developed by the proteins of hunting and eating and meat. A large part of my philosophy is that we have now the infrastructure, which this is not required, right? A big part of it is factory farming and the efficacy of that stuff. People that go out and hunt and eat their own, I am not, I've eased up on that thought. Especially in a survival situation like this, you killed it fair and square and you're trying to live. I think 100% I would eat it.
Yeah, I guess there's even just a difference in this of like, you know, if you go up and shoot a cow, it's not even going to try to get away from you. This is like a giant thing that's trying to actively murder you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's something to the thought that a lot of the stuff that we do hunt and eat now is not remotely on a predatory level as us. You know, we used to eat saber-toothed tigers and shit like that was trying to kill us back. And then we got to the point where we eradicated the buffalo because you could just walk up to a fucking herd of them and waylay them. So, which I've heard the argument too of like, well, you could walk up and just kill a cow. So God put it here for us to eat. But I don't know. We're thinking about getting chickens because I just found out that you can have up to 6 hens in my neighborhood. You can't have roosters, obviously, I think, because of the sound ordinance and shit.
Well, and then you got a lot more chickens to worry about.
True. But my neighbor has 4. She's like, it's plenty. And only a section of her yard is fenced. And the chickens know, like, this is their area. They don't stray. I'm like, this would be great. Good for your yard or whatever. But a big part of it is, well, when the chicken dies,
what do I
do with it? My thought is like, well, I'll just give it away. Like if I catch it, if it dies, like, do I know that it gets to a certain age and it's probably time to kill it for the sake of, you know, we fucking euthanize our animals and shit? Mm-hmm. Or do I just go out there one morning and collecting eggs and there's just a fucking dead chicken? If it's been dead for 10 hours, can you give it to your neighbor and say, here, fucking pluck this and have a way? But
say, are we expecting some boxes at our house?
You might. I don't know.
Yeah, but fuck is in dry ice?
Yes. I mean, even in that case, like if one of them died and you were like, I'm going to eat it, like you would know that it had a good life. You would know that it ate good food.
Yeah.
You know, like it wouldn't be like pumped full of hormones and shit.
Yeah.
You know?
It's such a weird ethical debate that I have, though, because I do have a dream of having a homestead and having fucking goats and stuff like that, and having goat's milk and make, you know, not being like a factory farm, but the relationship that you would develop with, like, I fucking love Black Phillip, man. He runs with me while I'm riding the 4-wheeler around and shit. Am I gonna want to eat him? But is that is that the argument? Like, is that the contract? Hey, I'm going to give you 10 years of an open field and keep you full. And when it's time for you to fucking die, I'm going to have a fucking banquet. I don't know if that's necessarily, the older I get, the more I'm like, that's kind of cool. Now, what do you call the fucking, the baby lambs that they fucking slaughter? Is it veal?
Delicious.
Yeah, like veal.
Like that's just brutal, man. Kobe beef, those Japanese cows that get massaged and
they're living a good life.
Yeah, they don't live in a field with barbed wire and all that shit. Like, okay.
I think if you have Black Phillip, he's doing the dealing though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be eating your entrails before you even knew what was what.
Be spitting your balls out of your mouth.
The guys find an old hunting shack They check it out and make themselves at home. Charles checks the map. Robert gathers some supply. They check to see if the kayak that they found out there works well. Charles heads back to the shack to make some tea, and as he's looking for matches, he finds a receipt from the birthday gifts that he received before this whole adventure started. Robert returns to the shack. They chat a little bit while Robert plays with and loads a rifle. Robert says it's been one hell of an adventure. Charles looks at the receipt again and asks to see Robert's watch. He knows that Mickey bought Robert a watch as well that day. Robert says it's broken. I told you that. Robert takes some swigs from some whiskey. What's the matter, Bob? Can't do it sober? That's terrible. Robert cocks the gun.
Kron, do your best Hopkins.
I can't do one. I'm not even going to try.
Okay.
What's the matter, Bob? Can't do it sober? No.
You got like a part of it.
You're getting a little bit of the twang. Yeah.
The what's the matter, Bob sounded pretty good.
You can do Baldwin.
Lemon.
Charles says, I guess you don't need me anymore. You can find your own way out now. Robert says, you have no business being with that broad anyway. Robert says the only reason she's with you is because of the money, and you got a plane. But you drew hard luck on this one. Charles says, for all the nights.
So they bought...
How touching.
They bought all the gifts at the same place at the same time.
And took the
engraved,
receipt.
yeah.
Yeah, and the guy put the engravings on the receipt, like, thanks for all the fucks.
Well, when you order it, he probably has to write that down.
Well, and then do you think, like, Elle McPherson, she's buying the watches, and then Baldwin is like, hey, throw this knife on there. You get this too.
It's 30% off, right?
And then do you think the guy who filled out the receipt was like, I'm going to tuck it in this fucker's thing, so he knows that chicks fucking run around on him.
Yeah, it could be. This is the quote that is on the back of Robert's watch.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this. Like when I watched this, when they get into the cabin, it is very jarring because this feels like a set. And so much of this movie has felt like on location. Mm-hmm. And when you get into this cabin, just the vibe of everything of now being on a set and maybe a little bit more controlled, because it makes more sense to fucking build this on a set as opposed to the middle of Alaska. It is such a great visual shift because as soon as they cross that threshold in there, Alec Baldwin's vibe changes too. If you are so separated from the woods and the relationship that they had developed, if it feels like you're watching a movie that's 4 hours long. I feel like the arc that he goes through as soon as he comes in this cabin.
Yeah, I always forget, like, once they kill Bart the bear off, there's
40 minutes left.
It's like 35 minutes left still on the movie. This is the quote on Robert's watch. Robert says, don't kid yourself. It's all over now. Let's go outside. The two guys head out. Robert with a rifle in his hand. Charles says, just tell me one thing. Or was it all in the first month? I believe was it in the first month? Robert is a little rattled and says it doesn't matter. Charles says, but it does because I love her. Talking about his wife. Robert points the rifle at Charles and says, I don't want to hear it anymore. Any more of your bullshit. Now turn around. Charles tells Robert he doesn't have to do this. I have to do this, says Robert. You live in a dream world and you would have died out here without me. Robert insists Charles turn around because Charles turns around.
Shoot him while he's looking at him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. But Charles is trying to get Robert's attention, but Bob ain't listening and falls backwards into a deadfall. The deadfall.
Which they do foreshadow, right? If you didn't bring that up, like on the way in,
Yeah,
They
Hopkins
see-
kind of
he
stops
spots it,
outside
yeah.
and he's poking it with his foot a little bit, I think.
Guys, Elle Macpherson's pretty fucking hot. She is the Bat Babe in Batman and Robin, by the way. I don't know if I would kill somebody for Elle Macpherson. I don't know if there's many women on the planet that I would murder somebody for.
Well,
Yeah, they're a dime a dozen, dude.
Yeah.
Kron, are you killing for Nicole Kidman?
Nah,
Okay.
I'd get another one.
I mean, I guess they're implying that Elle Macpherson must be like
Dynamite?
dynamite if this guy's a hotshot New York photographer, but he's got to have her. But, I mean, I guess the money is a part of that too.
I think it's mostly.
I don't feel like that's as amped as it could have been.
Maybe it's like she gets all of Charles' money if he dies, and then Baldwin's like, I'm basically getting that money.
Yeah. I've planted my flag in that McPherson behind.
And then I'm going to kill her.
Let's go to Alaska.
You don't think I do it, living? I've
Charles-
done it before.
Charles walks to the deadfall. There's a wooden spike hanging out of Robert's leg. Robert is begging Charles to help him. Charles does, climbs down in, grabs the rifle, points it at Robert, but unloads the bullets and helps Robert with his injury, even though he could have just left him for dead.
Uses the rifle as a splint. It's so fucking cool. Because, like, a gun is, like, used to kill people.
Now it's
But,
saving
but now
someone.
he's using it to save somebody. So,
What?
isn't that crazy?
Fucking this world.
They should have done like a Planet Terror thing
Yeah.
where he's out there
Shooting
shooting
bears.
wildlife with his gun leg.
He's got his own cabin and shit. Charles pulls the spike through Robert's leg and carries him back to the shack and dresses his wound. Robert is losing a lot of blood and fading fast. Shithole world, hell of a guy. He's not making much sense.
I think it makes sense.
He's going in and out because of his injury.
So, him making all this effort to save Rob, is it because it's a challenge? Is it the right thing to do?
I think he's just a good guy. He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's better than someone who would kill.
Yeah.
You know? Like he's good enough to take the guy like out of the woods that's trying to murder him.
Yeah, and add salt to the wound. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Charles does some reading. Yeah, he tries to make Robert put pressure on his wound, but this makes Robert pass out. He starts to read again to fix the problem. That's what he does best. Robert wakes up later that night, and Charles says, "We're going to get out of here." Early the next morning, we see something canoeing down a beautiful Alaskan river. Lo and behold, it's Robert who wakes up in the canoe, and Charles is leading the way, paddling away.
Can you imagine trying to load Alec Baldwin's ass into a canoe? I can barely get myself into a canoe without tipping it over.
Yeah, it'd be tough. He'd probably load him up on the shore, right? And then just kind of push it out.
Yeah.
Good to cut all that, though, yeah.
But even carrying his big ass out there would be a pain in the ass.
Robert tries to talk some shit, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like I said, he's injured. Charles pretty much says, "Save your energy." Charles brings the canoe to shore to warm Robert up. Robert asks, "Why did you save me? I'm a piece of shit." He says, "Is it because you don't have any friends?" Charles admits, he's like, "Yeah, you're kind of right."
Why are you going to get a dig in at this point? The guy is fucking saving your life.
Because I think it is under his skin that he's helping him. It's pissing him off that this guy is fucking helping me. So it's just like what we were talking about. It is some guy beat you at poker and you are now talking shit that he's cheating and doing like it's it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it's like how every rewind you lose the quiz and you always say it's rigged.
Well, they are rigged. Those games are rigged.
That's why we stopped doing them.
Mm-hmm.
I got tired of being blamed for rigging a...
They're rigged.
Does that mean the helicopter quiz was rigged as well?
No, mine are never rigged.
Okay.
Unless I rig them, which I often do.
Fucking Donald Trump in the making over here. Charles admits he's kind of right about the friend thing. Robert says, that's great. A guy that tried to kill you and now you're his buddy. Charles says you wouldn't have did it. Yes, I would have. Robert asks what Charles is going to do when he gets back. And he says he's not going to feel sorry for himself. Robert says never feel sorry for a man who owns a plane. Charles reassures Robert they will get out of this. Robert says, bullshit, I'm dying and I didn't do a goddamn thing in life. He snorted some cocaine off some hookers, man. You're all right. Robert takes Charles' hand and says sorry for trying to do you in and that Charles's wife was never involved in it. Charles says, thanks for telling me that and
She
don't
totally
die
was,
on me,
right?
Bob.
I was going to ask about that at the end.
He what?
I think she was.
She was in on it. I think so. Because he hands her the fucking watch.
I think
So she knows.
Yeah, let's save that. Let's get to the end.
All right. Don't tell me what to do, says Robert. All of a sudden, we hear a fucking helicopter come flying in, and Charles does his best to track it down. The helicopter sees Charles and heads their way. In all the excitement, Charles turns to see Robert laying on the ground, dead. Charles covers him up. Back at the cabin where we
Pisses on his corpse.
Back at the original cabin where everybody was at the beginning, Charles
Punches him in
arrives.
the face.
I wish they would have just hung him from the helicopter. Did you see that video of that lady, that rescue, where she spun like fucking crazy? Yeah.
Charles asks Styles, why is the rabbit not afraid? And Styles says, it's because he's smarter than the panther. Charles walks through the media that's gathered and heads straight to his wife, gives her a hug. But while doing this, he does hand Robert's watch to her. Mickey does look down and realizes that Charles does know. Charles addresses the media.
Well, she at least knows that he knows about the affair. I guess there's still some ambiguity to how in on it was she.
Which makes me wonder, I don't know if Robert was they were scheming to get rid of Charles. I think he kind of put it in his head and they got to the end of this thing and he had been thinking about it. The way he's questioning, why did you think that? Why do you say that? Mm-hmm. It almost planted a seed in him. So when they got to this cabin and it looked like shit, I might actually get out of here. He has now been thinking, damn, I could kill him.
But she also does encourage him to go with Stephen and Robert to find the guy. She's like, yeah, you should go.
I just think that is a go thing. I don't know if that's necessarily
this is what I
go
need
out to the
start this.
And because why would Steven be with him? Why would
that is true. He does have Stephen there as a fucking witness.
I mean, honestly, the biggest evidence for his wife was in on it is when he's dying and he's like, by the way, your wife didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That's more suspicious than anything.
Well, I don't know if he knew he was dying, so he didn't want Charles to be angry with his wife because he knew Charles was going to live.
Yeah, I take that as Robert still genuinely does care about her and is getting ahead of
looking out for her.
Yeah.
And him, I guess.
Don't now take her out into the wilderness.
Yeah, but to me, it's we didn't even bring that up, dude. Why are you bringing,
Yeah. It is odd that he doesn't ask.
Yeah.
Charles does address the media. They do ask some questions. He says everyone is tested. They just don't know when or how. A reporter asks about his friends and how they died. An emotionally exhausted Charles, with tears in his eyes, says, they died saving my life. End credits.
Because he got to live, right? He was tested. You think he moves back here?
To Alaska?
Yeah.
To Tennessee?
What?
To Tennessee?
Oh, not here, but I meant.
Oh, yeah. After you kill a fucking Kodiak,
I
dude,
think
you gotta
he's.
live there.
Yeah, he's fucking done with New York. He's itching to get back there, I think.
I'd put a cabin on the spot I killed that fucking bear.
Yeah.
Like, this is my fucking land.
I bet he buys fucking Styles' cabin before he leaves.
I bet you he owned the oil company who he had to hire Steven Seagal and
Oh, he buys it from Michael Caine?
yeah.
Aegis 1?
See that? 360 right there. That's why you tune in. Upon further research, gentlemen, this was released September 26th of 1997, a budget of an estimated $30 million, a box office of just over $43 million.
I bet I watched this spring of 98 then.
It's a big rental in my house.
Yeah, we're talking, this is still the era where it takes a few months for movies to go theater to video. Watched it at my buddy's house. Family was giant Green Bay Packers fans. Kid loved the Smashing Pumpkins.
Sounds like a cool dude.
He was a super nice family.
At the cinema that week, you could catch The Peacemaker with George Clooney and Soul Food.
I watched Peacemaker for the first time over the pandemic.
Never seen it.
Kind of dull.
I've always heard that.
Kind of dull.
And I ate soul food for the first time. Pretty good.
One of Bart the Bear's final acting roles before his death, May 10th of 2000, at the age of 23. Rest in peace, Bart. We covered this is the second movie in which he did star with Sir Anthony Hopkins. He did star in Legends of the Fall in 1994 with Anthony.
So he knew they had to get Bart.
Oh yeah, he demanded Bart and the director. Bookworm was a consideration as the title for this movie. Other titles considered were Wild, Wilder, The Wild, Into the Wild, Wilderness Now, Dead Hunt, Deadfall, Edge, On the Edge, Bloody Betrayal, and The Bear Roared. Which I wish they would have named.
I like Deadfall.
Deadfall would be
Deadfall,
good.
But I think The Edge is the definite winner of all of those.
In his memoirs, Alec Baldwin put much of the blame of this movie for his underwhelming performance at the feet of the director. He believes he watered down his character in the script and was more interested in making an action piece rather than a character piece.
Why? I wonder what the early reviews were for this, because I think he's pretty fucking good in it. That's a part of my... it's a 3.4 on Letterboxd?
Yep.
That's low.
Okay. Speaking of trivia, how many times does Alec Baldwin say the word Charles?
60.
Price is Right rules. I'll say 61, but my true guess would be like 80, 85.
87
God
times.
damn, dude.
The watch that Ellen McPherson gives Robert is an Omega Seamaster.
Yeah, he definitely got
2296.
he got the cooler of the two watches. That's for damn sure.
It is the James Bond watch. It is one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Bart the Bear has roughly 4 minutes and 37 seconds of screen time in this movie. Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman were considered for the role as Charles.
For the role of Bart.
Ray Liotta, Richard Gere, and John Travolta were considered the role of Robert.
No to Travolta. Gear maybe. I do think it's pretty fun
Ray
imagining
Liotta's ripping cigs out there.
Yeah, Liotta.
This fucking bear.
Yeah, to reuse the quote, I think anything Alec Baldwin can do, Ray Liotta can do, and vice versa. Although I'm probably leaning more towards preferring Baldwin. But Dustin Hoffman as Charles
That'd been cool.
with Ray Liotta as Robert would have been fucking cool.
And that's all I got, gentlemen, for The Edge.
Thanks, dude.
Oh, you're welcome. I knew it was always going to come to the show, so we got it.
Well, you brought it.
I know. Sometimes you
made
have to
sure it
deliver
would happen.
yourself.
All right. Kron and I both locked you in at a 4. Kron, do you want to...
Rate my box.
Bones. Say 4.5.
4.5. Dan? No, shit. That's wrong. I'm doing this with my left hand. Kron, I'm going to give you a 4.0. Dan?
Bones is a 4.5. Cron Howard is a 4.0.
Okay. I'm a 4.0. I think this movie's pretty fucking good. I just don't think it's got a ton of rewatchability. I think the cinematography in this movie is pretty fucking good. It feels pretty great to be on location in a pretty beautiful spot. Bart the Bear is terrifying. Alec Baldwin, while the best Jack Ryan, definitely seems to have secured himself as a character supporting actor. I think he's pretty damn good in this. Anthony Hopkins is really good. I think the script is pretty tight. I do think the big reason that I didn't end up at a 0.5 is that the last 40 minutes of the movie aren't as energetic as, the hour and 20 beforehand. I definitely felt like, oh, Steven dies and we still have an hour. Then they killed Bart and we still have 35 minutes left. And while the character study of, them in the shed, or the cabin rather, and that little back and forth, I don't think it lives up to the excitement that you had through those two other adrenaline pumping motions. So maybe that's what Baldwin was getting at. Baldwin wanted to lean more in towards what we got in the latter half and getting that sort of action survival in the front half. Kind of dips off for me, but I think 4 is strong. I think 3.4 is a little low for an overall average, but 4.0 for me.
All right, guys, The Edge. Yeah, I think this is definitely like a fun, entertaining movie. A lot of action, a lot of kind of thriller elements to it. I guess I would agree. It's kind of like once you get Bart out of the movie, you've kind of cut a lot of the exciting element out of it. I know there's still like a whole nother turn, and Baldwin and Hopkins need to deal with their kind of thing that's going on. But I don't know, like big fucking 900-pound bear versus a guy that wants to sleep with your wife. It just kind of is it's like a bit of a dip at the end, So, and it feels slightly like a whole different movie altogether. Like you get 2/3 survival, 1/3, I don't know, like noirish kind of plot, So, but there's really nothing negative to say. Like there is a slight bit of like CGI here and there, but I love that they shot real bear stuff. I love that, they had people actually interacting with the bear. I mean, I know that's when Steven gets ate up. It's probably not that actor, but it's some guy that's definitely getting fucked up by a bear for a little bit. So there's a lot of fun stuff in here. I think I'd be a 3.5 on this. It's a great movie, but I don't know. I feel like I've been handing out too many 4s lately. So I just gotta fucking recenter, 3.5.
All right, gentlemen. The Edge was a big rental when it came out on VHS in my house. I think I rented it, watched it. I had to go back, pick it up for my parents, and watched it again. And yeah, it was a sleepover movie as well. It was giant bear fucking attacking people. Yeah, fucking loaded up. I have some issues with. I think I've kind of expressed it with Baldwin's character. Just not. I think he's a little mixed up with. I know he has a straight agenda, I think, on what he wants to do, but I just think, like, even when they pull that like blue collar type of you got all the money, we're working type of people. I mean, I don't know. I think I have a little issue with that. Like I said, I just think that character should have been a little more like, fucking had a leather jacket, a little more edgier type of person. You know what I mean? I think that the whole kill the wife thing should have been wrapped up before the bear dies, before they kill the bear. And then, yeah, when you get to Bart dying and then you still have like 35 minutes left, I think, yeah, it does take you out of it a little bit. I'm a 3.5 on this. Like Bones did say, the rewatchability, like I said, I was looking forward to it and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that the extra 35 there, just once Bart leaves, is like you had something really good there with the bear and everything, and then I understand you gotta have more shit, but I think that all that other drama shit should have been wrapped up, and then we got the finale of Bart versus the guys. But yeah, 3.5 for me. It's I don't know, it could go up to a 4 when I'm 2 years from now when I see it on TNT or some shit.
All right, dudes, The Edge would have an average rating from the three of us of 3.67. This would come in at number 38 on the big list. This would be right below Near Dark and right above Phantasm 2.
Oh.
Solid. I think the swing of deciding, all right, we're going to do the character thing after we've killed the bear, like, I respect the swing of it. It just has to be so good to keep your attention after that. And sadly, it doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe if there's a bit more twist. Maybe if they didn't focus so much on it at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
And then that all came after that. So yeah.
And even as you were saying it, like, oh, we should have. My dummy reaction was, oh, there should have been another bear.
Just comes out while the helicopter's landing.
Oh, dude, that'd have been fucking cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he escapes it and getting on the helicopter, and like, then it kills.
Or Bart comes
Robert.
back. He wasn't dead.
Oh yeah,
they're fucking eating him.
He's skinless
or
now.
even like a pack of wolves. I thought about like when they were doing the fire ring. And they could hear something. I thought, what if it would have been badass if like some wolves came up and Bart killed the fucking wolves?
Oh, that'd be sweet.
And like not, like maybe they eat one of the wolves because Bart has no taste for them. He just kills them because like a territorial. They're my those are my prey.
Yeah, it's like when a T-Rex kills a velociraptor.
100%. Yeah. So are you like those are things that I'm sure you have in a pitch meeting or you're talking. And I feel like Mammoth's probably, no, this is like noir is a perfect thought. Like, no, this is a story between these two guys. And instead of it being in downtown New York, we're putting them in Alaska. Is that in itself is a cool pitch. But the problem is when you get Bart the Bear and you shoot in Alaska, everybody's there to fucking watch the bear chase you in Alaska.
Yeah.
All right. Kron, you and I both got a 0.5 to our Rate My Letterboxd. See.
All right. I have 10 points. Bones has 11.5. Dan has 9.5.
Rigged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we should squeeze in a rewind this weekend and just start anew because you'll never catch me.
I did expose my plan.
You should just do it.
Not to have a rewind until I took the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if we got enough time, maybe you'll get a rewind, listener.
Hint. All right.
But maybe you fucking won't. So
we'll do whatever the fuck we want. And if you are on Spotify or Apple, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. You can follow us on the socials at Threads, Instagram, Letterboxd. You can find Mount Molehill's list of these movies that we're covering here in Smashville. But if you really want to fuck with us, there is a link to the Discord on every episode that drops on Wednesdays. So get in there and have some fun with us. We're going to be posting some pictures and shit from this trip. But other than that, crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
It's dark in there. Do you see anybody?
I'll tell you what I see. I see eternal darkness funded by government conspiracy.
That's
Are you pushing or pulling? I can't remember if it's a push or pull.
It's too early in the morning for that, Alex.
Let us in. We need our milk. Let us in. We need our milk. Michael Douglas and I, we need our milk.
Milk is full of preservatives, estrogen. This is why I got my breasts at 8.
I'm not against a glass of milk. You know that.
I drink only pure soy-made hero formula.
Try holding the door at a 90-degree angle.
Have you tried that yet? Have you tried holding the door?
The appearance was at 10 o'clock, right? Yeah, they said a guest appearance. You're speaking. I'm talking about.
We're unveiling the Kitty Hawk plane.
I'm talking about Fatal Attraction. This.
Sounds like they've triple booked because I was also supposed to go on at 10, which is why I'm here at 9:45. If you were not early, you were late.
Why would you be talking about Fatal Attraction?
No, I'm talking about my fatal attraction, the things that I'm attracted to, which have killed my career.
I was going to say, you owe a lot of money and I'm not going to give you any.
I want to rent Dr. Zhivago.
Speaking of, quite honestly, there's the man right next to us, quite rich.
I'm loaded.
Would you be interested in buying jars of my superhuman urine?
No. My urine only.
Did you fly here?
On the Kitty Hawk plane.
I can't fly. I'm on every no-fly list.
I'd like to get you both in Scarface. We're doing it again.
What time did they tell us to be here again?
10 o'clock.
Push, pull.
It would appear as though we have walked into a ruse. I believe we were brought here under suspicious intent. It appears the store is closed.
I need to talk to Catherine.
We need our milk. We need our milk.
It's always going to be milk. Relax, Howard. Relax.
For the right price, I might be able to pump a certain substance, milk-like,
maybe Catherine,
full of true human patriot nutrient.
Should Howard, are you okay?
He really seems to need milk.
Which one of you is a communist?
Well,
how dare you ask? How dare you ask? It's obviously the Hollywood lackey over here.
Uh-oh.
I'm a survivor. Leave me alone.
Well, Beyonce, what are we supposed to do here? Should we try the back door?
I think I seen an alley. I don't know.
I'm leaving in the Kitty Hawk plane.